Hi. Oh, boy. Hello. That was sharp. Sharp, I say. Good morning. It is Glenn Clark Radio. I am Glenn Clark. He's Griffin. And we are still figuring things out. We make no promises how anything is going to go over the course of the next couple hours. But again, the alternative is always that Griffin and I just get up, walk out, and walk directly across the street to Glory Days Grill and have a fine day there instead. That is the alternative should something go wrong. Understand, if for example, at some point you have to walk away and then you come back to the show and we're not here and you want more Glenn Clark Radio, just come meet us at Glory Days Grill. That's where we'll be. And we'll just do the show for you there. That'll be the plan should anything go wrong. We are still working out the kinks, unlike Griffin, whose new career will be working with the Kinks. So it's... Kinks were a hell of a band, too. Girl, you really got me now. You got me so... All right, anyway, the moral of the story being, we're still working through some stuff. I was here late last night. Griffin was back in here at the crack of dawn this morning. He milked the cows, and then he came in here, and he tried to take care of some things. Just in time for us to probably do things a completely different way tomorrow. So that's the good news about everything that we're going through here. And if you think that maybe I'm starting to show some signs of being worn down by all of it, the answer is yes. Hey, but Griffin, good news. On top of everything else, the water's out at my house currently. So
wow,
I got that going
just
for me.
Fun week.
Got that going for me. I'd say it meant that I didn't take a shower, but I got to the gym and I did take a shower. Things are going great. Thank you for asking. Go away for a week and all hell breaks loose. Let's go to my Zen place. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday brought to you by Glory Days Grill. And I will get those scenarios up, unfortunately, because we were still fixing things. And literally the moments leading up to the start of today's show, I have not had an opportunity to post them yet. But you know what? You could just imagine what they might be. And answer them that way. At some point, hopefully, we'll take a commercial break and I'll have time to post those Would You Rather Wednesday scenarios here in a bit. Coming up on the program today in just a moment or so, Josh Holliday. He is the baseball coach at Oklahoma State. Josh Holliday is also the uncle of Jackson Holliday. And we'll talk to him about him and another Orioles draft pick, Nolan McLean, who did play for him at Oklahoma State. That coming up. Yes, we didn't even have the commercial logs because there was so much going on today that we didn't have time. Thank you, John Colson. John, I'd like to put you on the camera, but that's not an option currently. We got other problems. Bigger fish to fry. We'll deal with that some other time. Josh Holliday is going to join us. Travis Garrison, former Terp. Big event coming up. They're going to play an alumni basketball game between the University of Maryland and Georgetown teams, and it's quite fascinating to me how it came all about and what the future of this thing might be. So we'll talk to Travis Garrison about that. Drew Forrester will check in with us, and a neat local story impacting the track and field championships that are going on out in Oregon. You might have seen Devin Allen default out there, and there's just a really unique local aspect to it. We'll talk to John Baynon coming up a little bit later on about that. All of that on tap today. Today's show also brought to you by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Make the most out of every day in a Toyota RAV4, available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today. Something go wrong already? Okay. I mean, I think that does effectively hang up. I do think that's how that works, so we won't do that. 0 for 1. Lost the perfect game even quicker than the All-Star game. Like, if you were expecting me to give you some sort of analysis of the All-Star game, I got bad news for you. You're going to have to look elsewhere. But if you're looking for that, I don't know, man. Seek help would be the biggest thing that I would tell you to do. It was a game that had Jorge Lopez faced two batters, got them both out. So there's that. That's the extent of the analysis that I have for you about the All-Star game last night. Jorge Lopez was involved. He did get into the game, and whatever he does for the rest of his life, he'll always be able to say he pitched in an All-Star game. So good deal. Good deal. I also, by the way, did not think that I cared about the uniform thing. I thought everybody was being overgrown man babies about the players not wearing their own uniforms and wearing these generic uniforms instead, until I saw them. They sucked. They were terrible. I mean, I still don't really care, but you guys are actually right about this. They were god-awful. What atrocious uniforms those were that players were wearing last night. That's the extent of my analysis of the All-Star game. All right, joining us now, he is the baseball coach at Oklahoma State. He also happens to be the uncle of the number one pick, who probably will not be coming to play for him, unfortunately, at Oklahoma State. But he also knows another player that the Orioles selected in this draft, in Nolan McLean. He is Josh Holliday, and he is with us now here on GCR. Coach, it's Glenn and Griffin in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us.
My pleasure. You bet. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And, of course, I should point out, also, you have a little bit of familiarity with this area. You were once a Hagerstown son, correct?
I was, yeah. One glorious summer in the South Atlantic League in Hagerstown, Maryland.
I
went to Camden Yards on an off day one day during that summer and caught a game and loved it. What a beautiful ballpark.
Right.
And so, yeah, we like the orange and black colors and excited to have a couple of our guys, coming from the Stillwater, America area, headed your direction. And we've got a couple guys in your system already. So we're excited for our kids.
Let's start with Jackson, obviously. And taking it back, there's this video that's been going around this week of him hanging out with Matt when he was 3 years old at the ballpark, and we see him swing, and at 3 years old, it's purer than any swing I've ever seen in the history of baseball. It's the most remarkable thing I've ever seen. When did you know how special Jackson had the chance to be?
Well, he was amazing as a little kid, and most of our encounters were in summertime when I could get a break from work and go see Matt and Leslie wherever they were located. And for as long as I can remember, wiffle ball games or rag ball games or rolling up a sock into a form of a ball, it didn't matter. Wherever we were, whatever we were doing, there was something involving him swinging and a ball. And just even at a toddler's age, when he would turn and swing, it just looked natural. And as they got older, wiffle ball games, and as more kids arrived in the family games, and Jackson just always could hit the ball in a fashion that no one else on the field. It didn't matter if we were at a city park hitting baseballs or in a backyard playing wiffle ball. He always had a beautiful swing. And I think when he got here to Stillwater, end of his 8th grade summer, when Matt and the family moved here, after Matt kind of set his sights on winding down his playing career, Jackson got here about 150 pounds and had a great swing, was a good player, but was really just starting to blossom physically. And first time I saw him play for an extended period of time, what struck me the most was what a patient hitter and what a tremendous eye he had. He never swung out of the zone. He was always under control. He hit the ball the opposite field. And he played with a steadiness and a calmness that you rarely see. So at a young age, he always had a great swing. As he got older, he played under control with poise. And then I'd say the last 2 years, it's probably just been continued steady hard work on a daily basis. He's obviously gotten very strong, and his skills and performance have just gotten better and better and better. So he's awfully good. We're really proud of him. And I think the Orioles made a tremendous selection.
To your credit, I talked to him right before the draft, and he said, my uncle hasn't pressured me at all about maybe denying my opportunity to move on to pro ball and play for him instead. He's been very cool about it. But, you took the job in 2013. I'm doing some rough math here. He would have been, 8, 9 years old at that point? Do you remember when the first time was that you were like, hey, I'd like for you to come play for me at some point?
Well, the thing that's fun, watching Jackson and Ethan and Grayson and Reed, all of Matt's kids, and then my 2 kids, Brady and Olivia, they're all relatively close in age. And so as we've raised our families and vacationed and spent holidays together, the parallels, the photographs we have of them growing up and them wearing different gear based on where I coached through the years. When we got back to Oklahoma State 10 years ago, to your point, the gear all started to kind of look the same again, and the orange and black, and the OS hats and the T-shirts. So we've got about 10 years of pictures with the kiddos all dressed in OSU gear. And, you know, I never wanted Jackson, and for that matter, any of our kids, to ever feel like they had to come here. I always wanted them to pick and go where their heart was. And I'm glad that he felt, you know, that driven and that attracted to continue to help this program, but also to put his stamp on it, because he was his own person and is his own person. So pretty cool that he chose Oklahoma State, and quite honestly, even cooler that, you know, his skills developed so rapidly that I always tell people, you know, everyone benefits from coming to college. There's not one person that doesn't benefit from it, but not necessarily does everybody need it. I think Jackson developed to a point where college wasn't, you know, needed any longer. He's mature enough to handle himself. He's been raised in a family that understands the challenges of professional baseball. He's ready for that. He'll have a support system. He's ready in that regard. And the Orioles showed him in their action of taking him where they did that they believe he's ready.
No doubt.
And so I think those things line up, and it's a pretty clear indicator that there's no better time for him than right now. And, you know, who couldn't be more excited for any kid, let alone somebody you've, you know, been around since the day they were born.
That's neat. That's really neat. Josh Holliday, baseball coach at Oklahoma State, with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. Coach, if I could quickly, just two little ones on Jackson, and I'm going to talk about Nolan for sure. The first being, and you kind of allude to it in what you're just saying, which is away from his skills on the field, what are the Orioles getting? This, you know, there's pressure that comes with being 1-1, right? Like even in a system that's now starting to show progress and a baseball team that's 500, you're still a 1-1 pick. That is lofty expectations that come along with that. How uniquely do you believe he is prepared for handling that pressure moving forward?
Well, he's ready for it because he's been Matt Holliday's son for
the
last 18 years of his life. And so there's never been a day where Jackson stepped on a baseball field where he wasn't already being viewed or looked at or expected to be something because of the gift of his last name and the gift of his dad's success. So this will be nothing entirely new to him. Obviously, being the first pick in the draft that's a pretty small fraternity of players that can lay claim to that. But where I think he'll handle it really well, he's a very humble person. He is one of the most non-self-absorbed kids of this generation that I've ever been around. And I don't mean that as a criticism of other kids. I just mean it as a description of who he is.
Sure.
You know, the other night he had a great collection of close friends and family, and he was excited and thrilled to hear his name called, but he just manages himself, his demeanor, the way he treats people. He's very grounded and he's very humble. So I think his internal talk is the right kind of internal talk. And all I mean by that is he loves to play. He loves to work at the game. He lives a clean life off the field. He's got great discipline and a great example in his parents and the people close to him. So he's built to stay focused. He's built now to go take on the task of getting better every day and putting the time in to become a great player. And he also knows baseball's hard. And so, you know, the line between the penthouse at the top and the outhouse at the bottom is very thin. And so the humble nature that he has, I think, will keep him grounded and focused and not allow him to get too high or too low. And he thinks, you know, if you watch Matt's career and his demeanor, you know, I think you'll realize Jackson, he mirrors that in many ways. Will there be some pressure? Sure. But nothing worth doing or special ever occurred because you snuck up on somebody, right? I mean, let's face it, if you want to be great and you want to play at the pinnacle of something, everybody knows you're coming. So you better get comfortable taking on a challenge, and you better get comfortable embracing what it takes to be great, because you can't hide from that.
To your point, I asked him what he does when he's not doing baseball, and he was like, I watch my brother play baseball. Like, that's what he does is baseball. And then, you know, there are people that say, hey, we think he can play shortstop at the major league level, but the question is, can he stay at shortstop for a prolonged period of time? What's your response to that? Can Jackson be a shortstop for 8 to 10 years in the major leagues?
Oh, yeah. I think that's such a tired topic. I hear people say things like that now. Can someone stay here? I mean, you're talking about an 18-year-old kid that's 180 some odd pounds and in amazing shape, plays under control. He's not Matt. He's not a 240 pound, 65 guy. This is a 6'1" athlete that is lean. He's going to take great care of himself. Whether you play shortstop in the majors or second or someday third, or you're a great enough player to play all three, look at all the value that's created over the years for so many good teams. But, when I watch Jackson, I'm just looking for players that remind you, I recruited Brandon Crawford out of high school really hard a long, long time ago. I don't think anybody would have said Brandon Crawford at that time was a no-brainer, 15-year veteran major league shortstop. Jake Cronenworth, who I saw in college, University of Michigan, who's an all-star with the Padres, who plays second shortstop. I mean, all these guys are major league second baseman shortstops, and I think we have this image that the shortstop has to run a 6'1", 60 or have this, unmeasured athleticism in order to stay at shortstop. But the shortstop needs to be the most steady, smartest, consistent defender and defensive captain on the field. And last time I checked, the greatest Oriole in history wasn't the fleetest of foot.
Yeah.
Everything it ever took. So I don't subscribe to the whole idea, can someone stay at short? I think a great player who plays high-level defense can play shortstop. He can do that. I don't know if we're going to fix the shift issue, but the way we play defense in the major leagues now, never has that been less important, since we're basically sticking defensive players right behind the ball before it's ever hit.
Yep.
So there's a lot of things that are not, in my opinion, I think people are caught up in that. I mean, if I've ever seen a kid who can play shortstop and play baseball, it's him. And, Mother Nature, yeah, I mean, he could be a 210-pound kid someday and still play shortstop, or, there's room for Gold Glove second baseman too. So I think he's definitely a middle infielder. But he's got a beautiful swing. I'm a little concerned, though. I don't think I understand what we did in left center field there at Camden Yards.
We needed pitching, Coach. Like, we've gone a long time without pitching, and it's working. So we're kind of living with it right now. It's not ideal, but we're living with it right now. And certainly that little jut of a wall in left center field, we got to do something about that, because that's an eyesore and looks awful. Before I let you go, Nolan McLean, fascinating story, right? The word around here is that the Orioles are drafting him to be a pitcher, but he clearly can hit. Are you prepared to tell me that the Orioles just found Shohei Ohtani and we should all be ready to throw a parade currently?
Well, I'm not sure I would go there. Because I think there's one of those in the whole world.
Yeah.
I think you got a major leaguer. I think Nolan McLean's a major league player. I do think he has major league talent, both as a hitter and as a pitcher. From what I understand and just the little information I've seen, they intend to develop him as a pitcher and still allow him to swing the bat, which is great. He has immense raw power, probably as good a raw power as anyone in this draft. He's a really good third baseman, but I do think on the mound that Nolan could be a major leaguer in a really short amount of time, depending on what the team does with him. If he was in the bullpen, I could see him being a major league relief pitcher closer within 2 years. I think he's that gifted.
Wow.
If they choose to try to make him a starting pitcher, obviously that might take a little bit longer, since there's a different set of skills required to do that. But I think the Orioles got a major leaguer. They got a amazing kid with great work ethic, powerful guy. I mean, whether it's hitting the ball or throwing the ball, this guy can do it at a high rate of speed. So I think it was a smart choice. I think it was a bright choice. I think their scouting department was very zeroed in on his talent. And when I saw him take him where they did, I said that those guys were paying close attention, because he's probably, if he just pitched and people saw more of him pitching, in my opinion, he would have been a first-round pick.
Wow.
But because he was a two-way player in college, there wasn't quite as much mound time. And, so I think that's where it lies. I think as a hitter, he's a really good prospect. I think as a pitcher, he's an elite prospect, and they're going to give him a chance to, kind of figure out which one it is. But I think you got a major leaguer on your hands, and he reminds me of like a Trevor Rosenthal on the mound when Trevor was saving 50 games for the Cardinals when Matt played. I watched a lot of the Cardinal games. I see similarities, or he could be an elite closer in the major leagues and save a bunch of games, or, if they want to develop him as a starter, he's got the athleticism and the stuff to do that too. So big fan of Nolan, and I think it was a really good pick.
I think he's going to be fascinating for Orioles fans to watch his development and to see, hey, is he a guy, to your point, that's in the bull? Could we see a scenario where somebody's called out of the bullpen to pinch hit at some point during the course of a game? That could be kind of a fascinating thing over the next couple of years. Josh Holliday, man, really appreciate you taking the time for us. By all means, please continue to send us great baseball players in the coming years. Please, may we make this a pipeline that exists forever between Oklahoma State and Baltimore.
Well, we got the colors right, that's for sure.
No doubt.
We wear the orange and black just like you guys do, and obviously we'll be huge Oriole fans from this point moving forward. So, thanks for having me on, and I look forward to following the progress and hopefully someday getting up to Camden Yards to see these two guys break in with the Orioles.
No doubt about it.
You guys have a great week.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Coach Josh Holliday from Oklahoma State checking in with us here on GCR. Again, the uncle of Jackson Holliday, and that's where Jackson was going to go play, but obviously he's got some other plans, some other things in mind that he'll be doing instead. And also the coach for Nolan McLean. Appreciate him taking a couple of minutes for us here on the program. Today's show brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Baseball is back on Thursday, and it's time to start thinking about football plans. It's time to start thinking about, maybe making a ritual out of getting together on Thursday nights or Sunday nights or Monday nights, maybe Sunday afternoons, maybe making this the new place for you to go to watch Ravens games, because you can bet on every game right on the 61 self-service kiosks in the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. They're open 24/7, so if you're into betting strange things, Japanese baseball, you want to bet the Tour de France, something like that, you can still bet them right there on those 61 self-service kiosks. I love the atmosphere at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. I would like to try to convince my fantasy football league that that's where we should be going. Griffin and I talked about it a couple weeks ago. That first full weekend of college football, lots of big games. You could be hanging out, doing your fantasy draft in the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel while watching and betting on that first weekend of college football. I can't think of anything more perfect, ideal, splendid, stupendous, as Pat McAfee might say. FanDuel Sportsbook, Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Email events@sportssocialmd.com if you want to reserve your spot, either for an upcoming event or if you want to hold your fantasy draft there in the FanDuel Sportsbook. All right, still to come this hour, we will check in with our buddy Drew Forrester. I am going to work to get the Would You Rather Wednesday scenarios posted, and I got a couple of other things on my... Believe it or not, there's still a lot of things from the 2.5 weeks I was gone that we haven't been able to cover yet. So I'll get into some of those next. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Summer is in full swing, and so is the summer seasonal menu at Glory Days Grill. Start with the opener, flash fried pork belly with their popular Korean No. 2 sauce, and try their South Carolina barbecue chicken, or back by popular demand, the lobster roll with grilled corn. Also try the irresistible crab and lobster fries, or the very berry salad with chicken. And for dessert, the Cracker Jack sundae with a waffle, ice cream, and Cracker Jacks. This menu will be gone. Find out more and get your order in at glorydaysgrill.com. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
Get your tickets now for the premier high school lacrosse games of the year. The 17th annual All-America Lacrosse Boys and Girls Senior All-Star Games will be on Saturday, July 30th at Johns Hopkins' historic Homewood Field. This is your chance to see the future lacrosse stars up close and in person as they showcase why they are the best in the country. Go to allamericalacrosse.com and get your tickets now.
The latest edition of Pressbox is available now, and it's our very first Salute the Coaches issue. On the cover, we recognize Ravens coach John Harbaugh ahead of his 15th season. Also inside, find tributes to Navy football coach Ken Niumatalolo, UMBC soccer coach Pete Caringi, Maryland soccer coach Sasho Sorovsky, and field hockey coach Missy Maharg, Mount St. Joe basketball coach Pat Clatchy, and Poly basketball coach Kendall Peace. We also honor recently retired Johns Hopkins lacrosse coach Janine Tucker and Calvert Hall baseball coach Lou Eckerl, the athletes whose lives these coaches have impacted, offering insights on what makes them special and why they've stood the test of time. Pressbox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always find the entire edition as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Sports betting has come to Maryland, and we're ready to help you win some money. Tune in for Simply the Bets every Tuesday morning at 11:40. FanDuel Sportsbook GM Leon Twyman and VSiN's Aaron Oster join the guys every week to give you all of the info you need and offer you a few winners. And every other Thursday at 11:40, tune in for Weekend at Bookies as Andrew Stecca and Alloy Sports' Brad Kronthal help make you some money for the weekend. So come win some money with us on Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday. Brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. Watch at YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline. Don't forget that full episodes of the show are available for free on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. But warning, you get what you pay for. You're listening to Glenn Clark Radio.
All right, back in here on GCR. I started to get the Would You Rather Wednesday scenarios posted here. I'm going to share them with you via this medium, and then I'll post them. We'll take another break before Drew joins us. I'll post them there, and you can start getting responses in then. But just so you know what you're thinking about, 3 scenarios for Would You Rather Wednesday brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Scenario number 1, I have bad news. Griffin, you're a single young man, correct?
That is correct.
You're
yes.
correct. So this would not impact you as directly, although the scenario still impacts you.
Sure.
For those of you that are not single, I have terrible news. Your partner has left you. I'm so sorry. I'm so very, very sorry. But it's not all bad news. Because it's one of those bad news, good news situations. But you get to pick the good news. The bad news, your partner has left you. I'm so sorry. The good news can either be A, that the Baltimore Orioles are going to make it all the way to the freaking World Series this year. Not going to promise what happens, but they're going to make it to the World Series this year. Or the good news can be that you get a phone call and an invite to come spend next weekend in Cabo with newly single Emily Ratajkowski. All right? So, again, your spouse, your partner, whoever it is, they're out of the picture. Of course, that's of no impact to Griffin, but let's just play along. Pretend like you had a partner. Now, maybe you say, I'm not into women. It's fine. I'm not saying you, Griffin. I don't know what you're into. You can be into whatever you want to be.
I'm into Emily
Ratajkowski.
Ratajkowski.
Yeah, I mean, who's... Come on. Do your best. Just play along for the sake of... This isn't bigger than what what it is. This is just a silly game. Just play along. Try to imagine that you were into women, or try to create a replication of that for a dude that you might be into. I don't know. Is there a recently single handsome gentleman that I'm not thinking of? She's single because her partner, who is not, he looks squirrely as hell. Like I don't really understand that. But if you're into him, maybe he's the answer. Of course, apparently he's I believe she said he's a dog. He's a serial cheater, as I believe what she said about her husband. Just try to play along however you can. We have fun here. So again, the scenario, would you rather, in order to heal the heartbreak of your spouse leaving you, the Orioles make the World Series, or Emily Ratajkowski wants to spend a weekend with you in Cabo now that she's single? All right?
Apparently Zac Efron's single.
Recently single?
I guess. I mean, I'm looking at a website. It says the most eligible single.
Well, that's a
celebrities
different because I
of
don't. They might be
2027.
dating. Some. I was thinking of looking at somebody who like just got out of a
just got
relationship,
back on
so
the-
like they might be available. You know what I mean? It's fine. Great. We don't have to put too much time into this. Number 2. Would you rather? Griffin, did you see the video of the dude who was at the All-Star game jostling children to try to get an autograph?
Oh yeah, yep, I did. See
The
that.
biggest douche on the
Yes,
internet at the
yes.
moment.
People were
Would
saying he looked like Joe Gatto from the Impractical Jokers because
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you know what? He kind of does.
And it's funny because they had a
And
punishment.
you love the
I
Impractical
do,
Jokers.
yeah.
You're
and they had
all
a
in.
punishment where Joe actually had to do that to kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really funny. He was at a Mets game and
Okay, it's
Noah
kinda-
Syndergaard was tossing
that's a-
baseballs.
I wish that wasn't all fake because that's a good bit. Like I wish
think of it. That was very funny.
it wasn't all fake. Again, I want to like. They don't seem like bad guys.
They're hilarious.
Yeah, it's just fake. Anyway, I know. It's like telling you. Well, I mean,
I grew up watching them.
know,
I refuse to
know.
believe it's fake. at this
God,
point.
you know what? God bless you. Yeah, are you a Jackass fan?
Actually, I mean, yes, but I haven't watched.
I mean,
the
I
movies. Like, I don't.
get it. It existed before you were
Yeah,
born. I
but
mean,
like when I see clips of it, I think they're hilarious.
anyway, the moral of the story being, you have to spend all of next week watching start to finish and then over again and over again because you have to write a dissertation about it, the entire 7-part Derek Jeter series. Or you have to spend all of next week shadowing that douche everywhere he goes. Okay, that's number 2. And number 3, I just want you to think about him right now. We'll talk about him in a minute. And number 3, would you rather the Orioles do indeed Trey Mancini to the Mets for a low-level prospect, and they ultimately miss the playoffs this year? Or they keep him, they make the playoffs, but he signs with the Red Sox at the end of the year? Those are your Would You Rather Wednesday scenarios, brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Glory Days Grill has an immaculate summer menu available now. Oh, my God, you just heard me talking about it during the break. The South Carolina barbecue chicken. They kept the starter, the pork belly with the Korean No. 2 sauce. They kept that on the menu, which is a great decision because it is delicious, the opener. Also, the lobster roll with the grilled corn, the crab and lobster fries, the very berry salad with chicken, and the Cracker Jack sundae remains on the summer seasonal menu. It's all available right now at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill, or get your order in right now. GloryDaysGrill.com is the website. All right, a couple of things before we have Drew's getting his picture taken today at the radio station. We all had to do that for what I'm pretty sure our shows are disappearing in a couple of weeks. We still had to get our pictures taken. It's just a whole bit. So this story popped up on ESPN today. David Purdom is the author of the story, and it was sent to me by Dan. I'll just read it as it's written. The Baltimore Orioles began the MLB season as one of the biggest long shots on the board at sportsbooks and were underdogs in their first 26 games of the year. But at the All-Star break, the Orioles have emerged as the best bet in baseball. The Orioles were 2001 to win the World Series in mid-June, but have gone on a tear highlighted by a 10-game winning streak that put them in the thick of the American League wildcard race. The Orioles are 46-46 at the break, 3.5 games out of the AL's third wildcard. Sportsbooks have been adjusting Baltimore's odds furiously. The Orioles are down to 250-1 to win the World Series and 15-1 to make the playoffs, according to Caesars Sportsbook, and still find themselves facing 7-figure liabilities. Bookmakers say they're not overly concerned about the Orioles yet and are expecting them to level off during the final months of the season, but they also are well aware how expensive a massive long shot getting hot can be. Quote, we got burned a few years back with Leicester City winning the 2016 English Premier League title as 5,000-1 long shots when every bookmaker in the world said they have no shot, quote, said Eric Biggio, lead baseball trader for Caesars Sportsbook. Quote, everybody kind of learned that lesson. I'll give you one more paragraph. On July 12th, Caesars reported taking a $1,000 bet on the Orioles to win the World Series at 500-1 and another $1,000 bet on Baltimore to win the AL pennant at 250-1. The book also took several bets on the O's at 2,000 to 1 and 1,000 to 1 odds. So the question I was asked by Chris says, Glenn, this is purely hypothetical, but I'm sure somebody in your listening audience is dealing with it right now. Let's say that for funsies, you would put a bet in on the Orioles just because sports betting was now legal in Maryland and you just wanted to do it to be silly. At what point are you thinking about trying to cash that ticket in some sort of way, or was the whole thing so silly to you that you would rather hold on to it just for the fun of playing along? Great question. Great question. Because it goes beyond betting, of course. Within betting, I would always encourage you to think practically about what it is that you're cashing out on. I would always tell you that. I talked about that when I hedged the Lightning, going into the playoffs. Remember, I got the Lightning not at these odds. I got them at, I think it was 11 to 1, 12 to 1, something like that, to win the Stanley Cup. And I said back then, I thought those odds were crazy for the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions who had been playing well going into the playoffs. But I still didn't expect them to win the Stanley Cup. It was more a play based on the odds. And then once they got to the Stanley Cup final, and I genuinely, as I told you guys then, believed that Colorado was the better of the two teams, and I thought Colorado was going to win the series, I wanted to hedge. Now, I was able to do that because with just two teams left, you can hedge and still make money. You can't start hedging on an Orioles World Series bet right now. There's too many teams involved for you to be able to hedge on that. So that's not an option. The question is, can you sell it? Can you sell your ticket either back to your book, or can you sell that ticket to someone else? And from a practical standpoint, my answer would be sell it immediately. Immediately. The Orioles are not winning the World Series. Of course, again, I did set up a scenario where the Emily Ratajkowski thing, so I guess maybe we could have some fun with this, because you would, and that might be what's screwing with the answers. People will start saying, well, you can bet on them to win the AL pennant. No, you can't. That's what my answer is. You can't. You're not allowed to. Sorry. You don't get to get around on this. This question is more about something emotional, something that's more related to being a fan. And I don't know if anybody that's watching or listening today actually, people do this all the time. I remember it seemed like every summer I would have a friend who would go up to Atlantic City and come back and be like, I bet the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. Well, every year you could argue the Ravens had a chance to win the Super Bowl for the most part. But it was just doing it for the fun of it. It was doing it for the silliness of it. I want to have that ticket. And who knows, right? That's what you're doing it for. And people do that even with the Orioles, even despite the fact that there was no chance of them winning the World Series. Clearly there are people that made those bets. That's what the story from ESPN is all about. But I have no doubt that one of you, if not multiple of you, did something along those lines. You went and made a bet somewhere just for the fun of making the bet. And so the question becomes, do you practically think about the fact that the Orioles are not going to win the World Series, but unbelievably at the All-Star break, you might be able to make a little bit of money on your ticket? Not overwhelming, but a little bit of money. Someone might be willing to buy that ticket from you. Or do you say, the hell with it, this was always about just the nonsense of it and let it ride? And from a fan perspective, I think you know your answer, right? I think you're aware that from a fan perspective, the answer is just hold on to the damn ticket. This was never going to be something you were going to cash to begin with. But just imagine how much fun it could be. Maybe let somebody else hold on to the ticket. Maybe if they keep playing well, you might not want the liability of somebody coming and breaking into your house to try to steal. Maybe don't announce that you're holding the ticket, just in case they happen to go on that ride. If in whatever insane world you were doing this to try to make some money, I would encourage you to better financial advisor first. It's a terrible way to go about planning how to make some money, but that's fine. I think we know the reason why you bought this ticket, and my answer would be it's because of your fandom. and based on your fandom, run with it.
See, I think I'm on the opposite side of that. Like, if I had a chance to even just get the money back, like $550, whatever you put on the Orioles, I'm gonna root for the Orioles to win the World Series no matter what.
I get it.
So if I could,
but why did
back,
you do it to begin with?
I don't know. I guess I
That's,
wouldn't have.
And that's
it's
the point. The point being, you did it to begin with because you were being a silly fan. It had nothing to do with trying to make money. It couldn't have. Again, if it did, seek help. You are not the person that should be making decisions about how to make money. You did it because it was part of your fandom, because you wanted to have fun. Hey, wow, look at me. I got an Orioles win the World Series. It was nonsense, but it was fun, and it didn't hurt anybody, so you did it. So why would you bail now? Because you can make a little bit of money? Okay, cool. Again, I guess it depends if you put $1,000 down and the $1,000 is real to you. Again, I think you're making terrible decisions. My gut is you put $20 down somewhere, and because of the odds, that $20 on what was it? What did they say? 2,000 to 1? $20 on 2,000 to 1 can turn into a lot of money, but it's not going to. It's not going to happen. It's extraordinarily unlikely to happen. What did Kevin Garnett say?
Impossible is nothing.
I told you didn't have to do the bid. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Anything is possible.
Thank you. It could have happened. Sure, it could happen. It's so wildly unlikely that I don't even know. I don't know how to say this. Nothing's changed about your scenario just because the Orioles have played good baseball. You bought the ticket because you wanted to have fun, because it was part of being a fan. So what I would say is, then keep being a fan. Keep having fun with it. Be the guy that bought the ticket. You'll get attention around here, by the way. You'll probably get to do interviews. It won't be. I'm not likely to be the guy that puts you on the show, but somebody probably would. Have fun with it. Let strangers come up to you. Hey, you're the guy that bet $100 on the Orioles winning the World Series? Yeah, I did. Whoa, must be cool to be you. And if at some point it gets real, like if at some point we get to September and somebody's willing to offer you like real money for the ticket, okay. Yeah, I mean, I get it then. But now, somebody would have to tell me what the offer was. My guess is if you bought a $20 ticket, maybe somebody would buy it off you for $40. And yes, technically you're doubling your money, but come on. Come on. That's not what any of this was about. One of the odds, I do want to go real quick before we grab a break here. Let me go to FanDuel right now just to see what, because I remember saying at one point when we were doing this with, I think it was Aaron was on Simply the Bets. Simply the Bets will return next week, by the way. Simply the Bets every Tuesday, Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday. Those shows will be back next week. Brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, Maryland.
Still 300 to 1. 30 plus 30,000.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Well, no, but I mean, it's come down. That's to win the World Series.
Yes.
It's come down. It's come down dramatically from 2,000 to 1 to 300. I mean, that is, believe it or not, a dramatic odds change. I mean, like that's what they were referring to in the story. That is a dramatic odds change. I still.
Yankees are 3 to 1.
I mean, I don't. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
It doesn't make me happy, but I get it. I still don't think it's a wise investment, but again, for the sake of fandom, for the sake of having fun, a team that's 500, a team that's trending in absolutely an upward direction, that's sitting at, you said it was 300 to 1?
3, yeah.
You could put a $10 bet in, and I ain't going to tell you not to do it. I've definitely spent money in far dumber ways. Far dumber ways. In fact, I actually might be enticing myself into just doing it for the hell of it. As being a fan, man. Like, why not? It's not about the money. If the money were to come in, that's great. But I don't know. Why the hell not? Why the hell not? All right. And if you're going to do it at FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. That's where the odds are. When we come back in, Drew Forrester is going to join us. We'll talk to him about the hell's the guy's name that won the Cameron. I called my shot on Sunday. I'm like, I'm glad I don't have to do a show where I talk about golf because I'm absolutely going to screw up which Cameron is which Cameron. That's going to happen. I'm going to call him Cameron Young, and he's Cameron Smith. He's Cameron Smith, and he's probably going to live. Charles Barkley's. That's all. You know what? We need to talk about that. We need to discuss that for sure. Drew Forrester and Would You Rather Wednesday next. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
The wait is over. The all-new FanDuel Sportsbook is now open at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. This is your chance to win big right in your own backyard. Bet on every sport with self-service kiosks and watch all of the action from the best seat in the house. Make every moment more at the all-new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
Hey, O's fans, get to Oriole Park early on Friday, August 5th at 7:05 when the first 20,000 fans 15 and over will receive a Cedric Mullins 30-30 Club bobblehead presented by Masson. Celebrate Cedric Mullins' historic 2021 season when he became the first player in Orioles history to join the 30-30 Club with 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases. Tickets start as low as $15. What better way to cheer on the Silver Slugger than at the ballpark that forever changed baseball? Buy tickets at Orioles.com/tickets.
The biggest pro wrestling stars today and all time all have one thing in common. You've heard them on Jobbing Out.
Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks.
Thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
The great Kurt Angle.
Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Matt Riddle.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man.
The champ, Drew McIntyre.
Oh, thank you for having me.
The great Ron Simmons.
Damn.
Keith Lee.
Appreciate you guys having me, man.
Bill Goldberg.
My pleasure.
Charlotte.
Thank you so much for having me.
Mick Foley is with us.
This is the greatest name for a wrestling show I've ever heard.
MJF.
I'm glad you're happy I'm on this show because I'm freaking miserable.
Le
champion.
Chris Jericho.
Le champion.
AJ, Aaron, Brandon, and Glenn are talking pro wrestling every week on Jobbing Out. Find it at PressBoxOnline.com/radio, iTunes, and SoundCloud.
The Toyota Tacoma comes in a wide range of models and trim lines. You can choose the perfect Toyota to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
Stan the Fan here, welcoming back one of my favorite sponsors, the Costas Inn. And everybody around Baltimore knows the Costas Inn is a great place to go and grab crabs, steaks, salads, soups, whatever's on your mind to eat in person. But did you know that the Costas Inn has upped their game? They are now one of the premier takeout places in Baltimore. Give them a call now to order your food, 410-477-1975. That's the Costas Inn over 4100 North Point Boulevard.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now, and it's our very first Salute to Coaches issue. On the cover, we recognize Ravens coach John Harbaugh ahead of his 15th season. Also inside, find tributes to Navy football coach Ken Niumatalolo, UMBC soccer coach Pete Caringi, Maryland soccer coach Sasho Sarabsky, and field hockey coach Missy Maharg, Mount St. Joe basketball coach Pat Clatchy, and Poly basketball coach Kendall Peace. We also honor recently retired Johns Hopkins lacrosse coach Janine Tucker and Calvert Hall baseball coach Lou Eckerl, the athletes whose lives these coaches have impacted, offering insights on what makes them special and why they've stood the test of time. PressBox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always find the entire edition as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
To follow the show on Instagram, it's just Glenn Clark Radio. And to follow the show on OnlyFans, wait, I don't think you're supposed to know about that one. Any hoodle. Take it away, boys.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue on a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. Been a couple of weeks, but let's bring back our friend Drew Forrester, drewsmorningdish.com, Fairways and Greens, 105.7 The Fan. What's going on, dude?
How do you get paid for OnlyFans?
Like, what do you mean? How do you get paid? People.
Well, how do they pay you? You just get it directly in?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just like.
I'm asking you.
Yeah, specifically. Well, I don't, unfortunately.
Yeah,
not the most successful OnlyFans page. All right. I don't know.
Where you been, by the way? I mean,
Well, I was broadcasting the World Championships, and then it took a week to go on a cruise with my 7-year-old. I was trying to be a good dad, believe it or not.
So when you and I beat up the cruise people, did that help you or
Not at all. Did not help me in any way. In fact, I didn't even get a response. Got nothing. Yeah.
Some customer service
they killed it. And by the way, they asked me to fill out a survey when I got back, and I want you to know I did. For the first time in the history of my life, I filled out the survey. I had a few things to say. Okay, so Cam Smith, he's definitely going to live, correct?
I mean, that answer he gave the other night certainly would lead you to think that he is. I mean, the whole thing, what I find really funny is, and look, I've been saying this since this whole thing started. I understand. I get it. I get the money part of it. It's out of this world insane. It's not like they're doubling your money. They are times 80 your money.
Right.
Right? Like, so I get it. I do. I understand it. But what I don't understand is when someone says, my team handles that. That's the one I don't get.
Did they ask you your opinion?
Yeah, right. So, like, that would be akin. That would honestly be the same as someone saying to you, and I'll just use the Banner as an example, hey, Glenn, the Banner wants to give you $600,000 a year for you to come and work for us.
Right.
We don't think it's a good idea. You would say to
your
team,
why?
I make that.
Yeah. Right.
They offered me $600,000. We're taking it. So when I hear Cam Smith say, well, I don't know, mate, my team handles that, that's when I'm like, okay, dude, now my opinion of you is definitely
right.
diminished.
Correct.
Like, you know exactly what's going on, as you should.
Right. You just don't want to talk about it. Right.
Yeah, right. You know they offered you $90 million. You know you're going. I also understand you don't really want to talk about it right now because you just won the British Open, and I agree with that. I do think I think, and I got my media hat on. If I can't ask you right now when I'm sitting in front of it, it's like when Harbaugh got mad at me that time because I
tried to fight you.
Not scoring against the Falcons on the road. And then he yelled at me, and I said, John, if I'm not allowed to ask you a football question, what am I doing here? Like, so if I can't ask you, Cam Smith, you're sitting right in front of me, and now's my chance to ask you a question. And the number one story in all of golf for the last 4 months has been this rival circuit that you've been linked to. If now's not the time for me to ask it, when is? I get it, and I also get that he says to them, "Dude, I just won the British Open. Ask me about that."
Right.
So
By the way, credit.
Do I think he's going? I would think there's a pretty good chance he's going.
I think it's pretty clear that he's going based on what he said. By the way, credit to whoever the reporter was who's like, yes, I understand that, but, the question still stands. Like, good on that dude.
You do this, right? You look, we're not – I just walked out on 105.7. I'm not saying this to be anti-Jerry Coleman, but you're not trying to be Jerry Coleman by press, because give Jerry credit.
Yep.
Jerry's the one guy in town. We always used to say this. You and I would go out there. Jerry's the one guy in town that didn't care, and he would address the white elephant in the room, whatever it was.
Oh yeah, you knew whatever needed to be asked whatever needed to be asked that day was going to be asked because if nobody else did, Jerry was going to do it.
Correct. So I get it, and and you do this for a living too, and dude, I got to ask you this. Like, you did that with Gary, and Gary got mad at you. Gary, I got to ask you this.
Yep.
Like,
you didn't have a timeout at the end of the game. You regret that?
Right. Like, I'm not anti Gary Williams, but I got to ask you this. And
correct.
I got you on the air, and if I can't ask you, it goes back to your thing about Lamar when the girl called you, or
yeah.
I shouldn't say girl because it might have been a guy, but when the person that represented him called and said, yeah, you can have Lamar, you just can't ask him about his contract.
Well, then I can't do it.
Well,
it's just
okay.
Right.
What do you want me to ask you?
Right. Well, they told me. They told me what they wanted me to ask him. I said, thanks, but no thanks.
I get it. You got to ask him. I get that he was agitated by it. I do understand that. But, these rumors aren't going away, and there's a natural connection between him and Greg Norman. And, again, because no one's really been telling the truth throughout this, my guess is a lot of players told Greg, let me get through the majors so that I don't get the wool pulled, so that I don't get the wool pulled over my eyes. I want to be able to play in all the majors. Once the 4 majors are done this year, I'm definitely willing to listen. And I would think Cam Smith is one of those guys.
So the bigger one to me, and not from a golf standpoint whatsoever, because, it would be not. I have absolutely no idea what Live Golf thinks they're getting out of giving insane money to Charles Barkley. Like, I don't get that at all. But what I get far less than that is how effing insane Charles Barkley would be to cash in on being one of the most popular men in the entire country. I mean, beyond, I don't know whose popularity rating would be higher than Charles Barkley's currently in the United States of America. To cash all of that in to just take a bunch of money to go be a conduit for Live. That is one of the top 5 most insane things I've read this year.
And you'd have to assume, and I haven't seen the numbers, but because I have no idea what he gets to do the basketball.
The word was it's like in the neighborhood of $10 million.
Okay, I would have guessed way less than that, but fair enough. I mean, let's just pretend it's 5. Let's pretend he gets $5 million a year from TNT or whoever it is that actually writes him a check. If he makes $5 million, he'll need to get $25 million from Live, right? Like, he's not leaving for $7 million.
No. By the way, the most recent number that was legitimate was $6 million. So $6
million what?
Per year from TNT. Yes.
Right. Okay. So now for him to leave that, they got to give him 25 or 30 million, like the insane amount of money they're giving. So the story of that, and I agree with you, by the way, it's completely insane because he doesn't know anything about golf. But what's interesting is what they're trying to do. And I don't know that Greg Norman is the brainchild behind this particular thing with Barkley, but what they're trying to do is basically make this thing, this circuit, this tour, this league, they're just trying to make it into almost Barstool. They're just trying to get as many cool.
Right, they want personalities. They want social content. They want all of that. Right.
Right, and like as an example, Faraday is by no means a good golf analyst. He's just a funny guy.
Right.
He's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah, but,
and I'm not saying he doesn't know golf, by the way.
But that's the thing. He makes sense to be on a golf broadcast. Like, he can actually do the job that they need done and can bring them content and personality and all of those things. Charles Barkley can only do half of it.
Right. And if you want a golf analyst who really knows golf and who really knows the players, the only guy right now, the legitimate only guy, and I campaigned for him for a day before they stupidly gave the job to Trevor Immelman, they should have given the job to that kid Colt Knost because he really, really knows golf.
I don't know who that is, but sure.
He was an elite player, elite amateur player who turned pro, got hurt. He's now on Sirius XM. He is their answer as an analyst to Andrew Catalone. He's the next thing for them.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So they're going to give this money to Faraday, and all they're trying to do is create this. It's almost like it's a carnival. We're just having fun.
But let me
a golf tournament mixed in with it. And by the way, that might be a good way to do it.
And when I say that, that's why I'm saying from the other side it makes less sense, because that you can make it kind of make sense in that way
on their side. Like, hey, we want to create a media empire. That's the next thing. And frankly, what they want is for Charles Barkley to go show up at events that the Saudi prince is going to throw. Like, that's what they really think they're getting out of it.
100%.
But
and as weird as this is, you know what model they're sort of kind of following, with one exception, which would be the age of the participants. Their model is really not that different than what they're trying to do in lacrosse.
Kinda.
Which is.
Right.
It is.
Right.
The lacrosse kids, the lacrosse players are the best of the best young guys.
Right.
But what they're trying to do with this thing is pretty much pick it up, move it to New Jersey next week, have a party for a week, pick it up, move it somewhere else in 3 weeks, have a party for a week. That's what they're doing.
Right. But they're doing it for they're doing it in lacrosse. They're doing it to try to get by. They don't care about look in lacrosse. They actually want the thing to profit and succeed. Like it's important to them that they don't care about that with the golf.
But the concept of the lacrosse thing, the general concept of it is
right.
We're bringing this
It's a carnival. Yes.
And we want all the lacrosse people to hang out, have some cocktails, watch lacrosse, reminisce, help fund this thing. And the golf is very, very similar to that, with the exception of all the players are basically on the other side of the greatness of their career.
All right. Let me go back to the Barkley side of it, though, because that's, to me, still the part. Like, we've talked about it with some of these golfers. Brooks Koepka is not popular, right? Like, I mean, he's more popular than some guys. Dustin Johnson is not a popular person. He's not well-liked. Most people in this country don't know who he is, but within the golf community, he's not well-liked. Sure, go take your money, do whatever. Charles Barkley is truly one of the most beloved Americans, no matter what your politics are, no matter what your skin color is. Everyone loves Charles Barkley. How do you screw that up? There's no way you can still be that guy by appearing on golf broadcasts that nobody watches.
Right. And I guess this would be a little similar to when Jordan said, well, Republicans buy sneakers too.
No, but that's why he said he wouldn't talk politics. Like that's
I get it, but as soon as you say that, you've now aggravated half the people. Barkley is not only doing that, but he's doing it in a form where no one even knows how to listen to it.
Right.
And what's he going to add? I don't know, man. It's a weird.
The live side is weird. The Barkley side is insane. There's just not.
And if they're giving him $30 million, I'm just throwing that number.
Right.
If they're giving him $30 million, what they really should do with that $30 million is give it to Patrick Cantlay. I hear it. I hear it. While I hear you. Right, money doesn't matter to them. And what I would say is, and this is the ultimate problem, nobody in the world knows who Patrick Cantlay is. Besides you, you know what I mean? Like, right, that's what I'm saying. You know who Patrick Cantlay is. Nobody else does. Like, we only thing anybody around here knew about him is he was the guy that wasn't Bryson DeChambeau when they were at a golf tournament last year in Baltimore. That's it. Like, that's the list of things that people know about the guy for the most part. So they can't get for Patrick Cantlay what they would get for Charles Barkley, which is recognition, but that's not going to drive. Nobody's going to go seek out the Saturday morning golf tournament on YouTube because Charles Barkley's part of it. That's not going to drive anything. Anyway, you know what? Different conversation. Let's play Would You Rather Wednesday quickly. Would You Rather Wednesday is brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Number one. Oh, you know what? I can't believe I'm about to say this. Do you know who Emily Ratajkowski is? No idea.
And you're driving your car right now, correct?
Yeah, I don't know who she is.
But yeah, I'm asking a question. You're driving your car. I couldn't send you a picture.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you can send me a picture.
All right, hang on a second.
Make sure it's.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get you. Yeah, right. Like, well, hang on. What do you mean by PC? I don't.
Well, I mean, the Archdiocese has access to my phone.
Oh, all right. Well, that's fine. This I wasn't planning on doing anything like that. Emily Ratajkowski is a model and a bit of an actress.
Send me that.
She's a very handsome woman. She's lovely.
Okay, yeah.
She's very She's recently single.
Okay.
As someone got tired of Emily Ratajkowski.
Lee Trevino's famous line.
That's right.
Every time when Lee Trevino saw a pretty girl, he would always say, "Hey, by the way, just remember, somewhere someone got tired of her."
That's correct. I just sent you the picture. So I don't know if you have the ability to pick it up and look, because I think it's important for participating. You're calling me right now. I don't think that's what you meant.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Uh-huh.
Let me look at her.
Yeah.
Let me see old Emily.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah, she's lovely, correct? She's a lovely, and I don't believe the Archdiocese will be mad about that whatsoever. All right,
What kind of sunglasses are they?
Yeah, that's a great question. That is the first thing I noticed, too. All right, Drew, so I got bad news for you, pal. Mrs. Forrester is finally wised up, and she's left you. Bradley Cooper.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, we all kind of, nobody's all that surprised by it.
Yeah, right. What took you so long?
Right. Bradley Cooper became available. So she's left you. But don't be too down, because I got good news for you. All right?
Okay.
And you get to pick what the good news is. Either the good news is that the Orioles are going to make the World Series this year, or the good news is that you're going to get a phone call today from newly single Emily Ratajkowski saying she'd like to spend the weekend with you at Cabo.
Okay.
Yes, it's Would You Rather Wednesday. You get to pick. Yeah, you pick one of those two scenarios.
I'm thinking. You know what? I'm going to let my team decide this. My team says take the girl.
Very good. Number 2. That's well played. Well played, sir. Yeah.
My team says take the girl.
Well played. Number 2, the Orioles indeed trade Trey Mancini to the Mets for a low-level prospect, and they miss the playoffs by 1 game. Or they keep him. They make the playoffs, and then he signs with the Red Sox after the year.
Oh, I'll take the playoffs every time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I'll take the playoffs every time.
He's got to be a Red. He's going to the Red Sox. I know you root for them. I know you still fantasize about Derek Lowe. But it was weird. Drew's first thought when I offered him a weekend in Cabo with Emily Ratajkowski, he was like, "Could I get Derek Lowe instead?"
Is Derek Lowe not available?
Right.
Yeah, I'll take the playoffs, man. I'm itching for the playoffs.
All right, very good. And number 3, you have to spend all. Oh, again, I don't know if you're familiar with this. Did you see the video of the adult autograph seeker that was throwing elbows to try to get? Okay.
I would love to punch that guy right in the face.
Unfortunately, that's not your option here. Number 3, would you rather? You have to spend all of next week watching and rewatching and then writing a dissertation about the Derek Jeter 7-part 30 for 30. That's all you can do for a week.
Okay.
Watch it, rewatch it, write a dissertation about it, or spend a week literally shadowing that douche.
I'll take the Derek Jeter thing.
Okay?
Yeah, I am not hanging around that guy. If I was around that guy for more than 3 minutes, it'd be a problem.
Also, by the way, I'm pretty sure that you worship at the altar of Derek Jeter. You were actually really excited about this. You're the guy. You're the one guy.
I wrote about Derek Jeter today at Drew's Morning Dish.
Why?
Very briefly. I just wrote a sort of a counterpoint to all of these people that I'm hearing say that I was just basically saying, if you don't understand why ESPN is doing this for Derek Jeter, there's no helping you.
Oh, no.
He is an iconic.
In one city.
He is an iconic. Correct.
Right.
By the way, in one city for the most recognizable
And
sports franchise maybe in the world.
That's fine, but nobody in Kenosha, Wisconsin cares about this. This is the only issue.
Kenosha, Wisconsin cares about anything.
That's not true. Everybody in the country cared about the Michael Jordan thing. The only issue with this is they're trying to portray Derek Jeter as being Michael Jordan. And Derek Jeter does not. In New York, Derek Jeter is as important as Michael Jordan is. In no other market is he a tenth as important as Michael Jordan is. If they want to do a 30 for 30 about Derek Jeter, they should. Doing a 7-part 30 for 30 is just announcing we've got nothing to do this summer. We have nothing. All we can do is air the basketball tournament, and we desperately need to fill time, so we're just going to do this. They could have done something. You know what I said yesterday? They want to do a 7-part 30 for 30. The most compelling thing that happened during Derek Jeter's career was the World Series he lost. The 2001 World Series is the most compelling World Series of my lifetime because it came in the aftermath of 9/11, and you had George Bush throwing the first pitch, and you had all of the Byung-Hyun Kim blowing multiple saves, Derek Jeter becoming Mr. November, the whole thing. It had everything. If they did a 7-part 30 for 30 about that series, game by game, and everything going on in our country at the time, and everything going on in the world at the time, it would be unbelievably compelling for every baseball fan on the planet. This about Derek Jeter is compelling in one market and one market only.
I disagree with that. Sorry. I disagree with that.
I can't. Did you sit? So did you watch part 1?
I won't watch any of it.
Why don't you plug? Why don't you go ahead and get your plugs? Why don't you go ahead and get your plugs?
I'm not watching.
I mean,
I'm not watching.
of course you're not, and no, neither is anyone else. No one in any city other than New York is watching this because he's not that guy.
I love when people say, by the way, these absolute morons say he was an average player. He played in the big leagues for 20 years. He hit 310.
It's the wrong way of saying it. There is a correct thing to say. And I tried to do this yesterday. Michael Jordan, the only argument is whether he's 1 or 2, right? How far down the list of the best baseball players of all time do you have to get until Derek Jeter's name even becomes part of the argument?
Well, I don't know what to say to this. I think Derek Jeter. I think the fact that he's never been interesting is interesting.
I mean, okay, that's a hell of a sell.
Because I don't think we know anything about him.
Well, we know a lot of things about Derek Jeter, but they're all about who he was sleeping with.
Okay, but we don't know. We don't know anything about him. Like, and I'm just use this as an example. I know you're going to laugh when I say
Yeah.
What did he do? What did he do as a routine on game days in New York?
That screams 7-part documentary, doesn't it?
Well, no. But what did he do? Where did he go for breakfast?
Got right.
Who cut his hair? Where did he go for lunch?
Give me 7 hours of that.
Stadium. I'm just saying, dude. I just think he's an interesting guy because we don't know anything about him.
Okay. You go watch the 7-part documentary about him.
I'm not watching.
I know you're not. That's the point. It's literally the point about all of this. And again, you come up with the answer of how deep onto the list of the best baseball players of all time you have to go until we can start arguing for Derek Jeter. Because I thought maybe it was 50, and then we sat here yesterday and talked about it, and it definitely ain't 50. Like, it might be 100, but by the time you can get into the argument, right? Like, you might. And what people are really saying that gets lost is Derek Jeter was a worthy of a Hall of Fame baseball player, but he was treated like he was the greatest baseball player of all time, and nothing factual is close to lining up with that. He was at best, average defender, and the numbers would tell you he wasn't even an average defender. He was a below-average defender. He was a poor defender. He was not a power hitter. He was a good baseball player. But, he definitely wasn't a guy.
You people that hate Derek Jeter because of how handsome he was.
That's what it is. That's
hilarious.
what it is. All right.
It's hilarious.
You're trying to raise some money or something, right? Quickly. We got to do this.
Yeah, I'm doing you don't have to mention that, but it's going well. It's going great. I'm trying to raise some money for my junior golf program that I started back in the spring, and we have a free clinic again tomorrow night. We do this once a month, although I think we're going to probably start doing it every 3 weeks. So we've had upwards of 25 kids involved. I think tomorrow night we may even have more than that. It would be great if it works out that way. So anyway, I've been trying to find 175 people to give me $20.22, which would meet my budget for the year.
Okay.
So it looks pretty good right now. Like, we're going to make it happen.
So how do people do that? Where would they go to do that?
You can Venmo me. You can find me on Twitter. Twitter would be the easiest way to do it, just so you can see what we're doing, because I have written about it. And you can also go to Drew's Morning Dish.
All right.
So we're plenty of ways for you to find out how to help. We're doing all of this. The model of this is basically club soccer and club lacrosse. Like, that's the model, except we're not charging the kids $3,000 a year. We're doing all of this for them free. You know, golf is the one sport. If you and I want to go play tennis, we get our rackets and we go find a tennis court and we play. If we want to go play soccer, we get a soccer ball, we get a bunch of guys, we go play. If we want to play baseball, we go to a diamond over here in Parkville somewhere and we play. You can't do that in golf. Golf's the one sport that always requires money.
Yep.
And we're trying to remove that. And I'm not trying to, I'm not chiding the concept of club soccer or club lacrosse and they charge $3,000 and you play on this elite team. I get it. I understand the value of it. You're paying for the coaching. I get it. It's a great model. That's just not our model. Our model is we provide the instruction. We provide everything they need. We do it all, and we don't charge them anything. So in order to do that, we need to raise funds. So that's what we're trying to do.
Drew'sMorningDish.com to find out more. Of course, he'll be talking about it on Fairways and Greens Sunday at noon on 105.7 The Fan. And, Drew, I leave you with this. This is from Ed, and it's so phenomenal. Ed says, Glenn, to your point about Derek Jeter and where he ranks in the greatest players of all time, his career WAR is 71.3, which is good for 94th in baseball history. I'm looking forward to the player that he is most comparable to also getting a 7-part documentary, as the next player on the list with a career WAR of 71.1 is Bobby Grich.
Yeah, see, so that, again, a couple of things stand out there, right? These people who get enamored with these.
All right, Drew, I apologize. We had something happen with our phone. We got to run. We'll get that. Let Drew know. I don't know what happened there, but we lost Drew. Drew Forrester, Drew'sMorningDish.com, joining us here on GCR. By the way, credit to Bobby Grich. I had no idea. That Bobby Grich's career WAR was 71.1. That's remarkable. That's really remarkable. 71.1 career WAR for Bobby Grich, the former Oriole, who is 95th all-time. Derek Jeter, 94th. Rafael Palmeiro, 92nd all-time. He sent me the list from Baseball Reference. Rafael Palmeiro, 71.9 career WAR, 92nd all-time in baseball history. Look, man, as I said before, the ratings might be insane in New York. And if they are, that might be all that matters. And to the point that we've made, I don't know what the other programming options were for ESPN this summer. More Canadian football, more, they don't have other options. So this is what we got. Again, I think it could have been done better and more compelling and more interesting. I think there are things that people would be more fascinated by on a grand scheme than a 7-part documentary about the 94th greatest baseball player ever. Just my opinion. Today's show also brought to you by the print issue of Press Box, which is available right now. It is our Salute to Coaches issue. John Harbaugh is on the cover as we recognize him approaching his 15th season as the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. Other coaches who have recently surpassed or approaching milestones are recognized inside, including Sasha Sorovsky and Missy Maharg from Maryland, Kenya Matalolo from Navy, Pete Carinci from UMBC, Janine Tucker from Johns Hopkins, who just retired, as did Lou Eckrell from Calvert Hall, recognized him. Kendall Peace from Poly recognized. Just an incredible group of coaches that are recognized by the players they impacted the most. Go get that print issue right now at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Pressbox. Read it all, PressBoxOnline.com. All right. Speaking of Maryland, this is a really cool thing. There's going to be a game pitting Maryland basketball alumni against Georgetown basketball alumni coming up in just a couple of weeks in College Park. Joining us now to tell us more about it, the man who's at the center of it, he is a former Terp. He's a podcaster. He's Travis Garrison, and he's with us now here on GCR. Travis, it's Glenn. It's great to catch up with you as always, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Glenn, my man, always great to join you guys, man. Definitely appreciate the opportunity for, to talk about this.
Dude, this is really cool.
I don't know what else to say other than I love this. I love everything about it. So take me back. Tell me, how did this all come about? What is the Alumni Basketball League? What could this be in the future? And what should Maryland fans be looking forward to here in College Park in a couple of weeks?
Oh man. So let me start off by saying the league was founded by a former Missouri star, former Laker Kareem Rush, and co-founder Jake Jackson, who they basically Kareem basically wanted to do something back for Missouri, bring something back for Missouri, and give some to the fans there. So I think they had a game then, like a number of years ago, like a few years ago, and then obviously COVID happened, but they wanted to bring it back. And the co-founder Jake, they thought it was a great idea to basically maybe make it bigger because of the success that they did have. So Missouri played Kansas and had a great turnout. And so one of Kareem's former teammates, Jason Conley, he's from the area, and he contacted me a couple of months ago and kind of told me a little bit about the league and, asked was I still, close to Maryland and close with Maryland and things like that. I told him, yeah, pretty much. And he said, how would I like to be, the general manager, the owner of the Maryland alumni team? And I'm like, okay. He was like, yeah, the game's going to probably be next year, 2023. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we're like, cool. He said, well, who would you want to play? I was like, Georgetown. Why not? Why not Georgetown? Everybody wants that rivalry. They always talked about that rivalry, who's better. But obviously that game never happened year in, year out. So I thought it'd be a cool thing to do for the fans here in the area. And then I get a call a couple of weeks after that and said, the game is going to be in 6 weeks.
Right, yeah.
So
get ready.
Okay, so I'm like, man, I got to try to get a roster together, and because I had time to maybe I wasn't gonna tell guys now about the game. I was gonna wait till next year, and give it some time. But yeah, there was some scrambling going on, man. But I love the concept of the league because you have other things that's going on right now. The TBT, the Big Three, and things like that. But the cool thing about this league is it's ran by the players. Like Chris Wright from Georgetown, he's the general manager, owner of that team. We have control of it. Their whole point was trying to give players control of the league, and it's pretty cool. The players get paid every game that they play. They get percentages of ticket sales, whatever happens, whatever comes into the league, they get a percentage of. There's just so much cool opportunities there, and it's going to get bigger because they want to add more teams to the league, and more teams and more people are reaching out trying to get involved, and it's going to be big. It's going to be huge. So a lot of guys that's here on the ground floor, it's a great opportunity for them.
The game is August 6th at Xfinity Center, and it's a nice little roster you've put together. Melo Trimble, Anthony Cowan, Kenny Abekwe, Byron Mouton, Terrell Stock. Boy, that's an interesting one. Terrell Stoglin, Baltimore's own Sean Mosley, of course. DeMonte Dodd's going to be a part of it. And with the concept be, so you can do this as a one-off this year, when we talk about it being a league, is the idea maybe that next summer that there could be 5, 6, 7, 8 games, something like that, played, and maybe it's not just Georgetown, but I don't know, perhaps there could be a Maryland Duke alumni game, something like that.
I mean, so they do want to add more games next year. They want to add more of more games to the league. So like I said, they kind of the Maryland Georgetown game was kind of happened kind of quick. So, but next year they do want to add more teams, and I mean, you threw Duke out there.
I mean,
want to see that.
Come on, bro.
Hey, for me, I'm excited about this because I want to give something back to the fans and give them something exciting. This is just not a game where former players come together just to play a game. This is really it's a real thing. The players are getting paid to play. And obviously we still have that bragging rights going on with, the Maryland Georgetown being in this area. Who's better? So it's really cool. I'm really excited about it. The players are excited about it. They're looking forward to, because a number of the guys never had a chance to play back in front. And that's the thing about it. We wanted to basically, number of these guys maybe didn't play in the NBA. So they had to go overseas. So the whole thing was to bring these guys back and play in front of the fans that supported them for so many years. Now telling those guys that. I mean, obviously the fans, a number of fans reached out. They're excited. They're looking forward to it. But the players are too, because you get this thing where you leave college and you're like, remember the time back when we played, the excitement that it had, playing in front of the fans, and now these guys get a chance to go back and do it again in front of those same fans that they haven't seen in some time, and they may haven't seen them in some time. And it's pretty cool because we're going back to the Xfinity Center.
Yep.
A number of players already told me and say how excited they are. They look forward to it, to come back home and play in front of their fans. And like I said, some of these guys, Terrell's not from here. He's from Phoenix. And Kennedy's from California. So to have them come back and play in front of the fans is pretty cool.
Dude, I really do. I genuinely like everything about it. You know, I'm rooting for this thing, as I think it's a very cool opportunity, a time during the year where, frankly, I don't mind watching some sporting events inside for a change, because it is hot as balls outside.
Right.
I like everything about it. Give me Travis Garrison is with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. Again, the Alumni Basketball League, Maryland versus Georgetown. It's the College Park Boys. Make sure I'm saying it correct. And what's the name of the Georgetown team?
Dog Talk.
Dog Talk. That's the game. It's August 6th at Xfinity Center. In reaching out to guys, did you get the feeling that maybe, like, hey, again, if we have more time and if we do come back and do this and expand it next year, there would be even more? It's tough to put something like this together in such a short amount of time. Do you think there could be even more interest, and there could be, you know, an even broader group of players that you might be able to get together for a team, say, next summer?
Absolutely. Guys already reached out. So some guys I reached out to, they just finishing up overseas, or they, you know, going on vacation with their family because they just finished up, or they had other obligations, or, you know, things like that. But then a number of guys reached back out to me and was like, hey, man, I can't make it this year, but, man, for sure I'm playing next year.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? And these are some guys I know fans would definitely have loved. So it's guys that are excited about it. And then a lot of times when you start in something new, a lot of people not really buy. Not saying my guys, but just some guys may not buy into
I get it.
Don't know what it is.
Yep.
And until it happens, and they're like, "Oh wow, okay."
Yeah, this is cool, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and these guys that's on the board, they're excited. They're looking forward to it. They want this to be a great experience. I want this to be a great experience for the fans and for the players. I want the players. Our whole thing is to make this a great experience for everybody.
That's awesome, man. I mean, again, I should be. I guess I should be trying to ask critical questions, but the truth is, I just think this is really cool. I think this is a really cool thing, and I think Maryland fans are excited about it. And I guess let's just talk Maryland for a second. I mentioned, you know, obviously you're a podcaster now, and you're kind of one of us. You have to put your own critical hat on a little bit. What have have you been able to spend any time with Kevin Willard? I know he had a lot of the NBA guys back recently, which I thought was a great thing, kind of making some relationships there. Have you had that opportunity to spend some time with him? What have your impressions early on been of Kevin Willard here at Maryland?
I actually, so on Twitter, I'm barely on Twitter, believe it or not. So I go in here and out, and I saw that, you know, he followed me on Twitter. So obviously I followed him back, but then I reached out to him and, you know, pretty much said, hey, here's my number. I definitely would love to connect with you. Immediately he like sends me a message like, hey, Kevin, hey, how you doing? And I was like, hey, all is well. I would love to catch up with you. I went up there to campus last week. Obviously that storm happened, so campus kind of shut down. So we were supposed to connect last week, but I know they've been on the road. I know he's on the road a lot. I know Tony Skinn really well, so obviously, you know, he was like, you know, come through, we'd love to see you. But I heard a number of great things about him. How he always, you know, want to get the guys back on campus, and just that family atmosphere he wants to get back. And so I heard, like I said, a number of great things about him and how he, you know, just connect with the guys.
I've had a couple conversations with them. There's a lot to like there. I think the thing that jumps out to Maryland fans is how quickly he's putting together an aggressive schedule, right? Like, he didn't waste any time. Let's go play UCLA. Like, let's do this. And I think one of the things that we talked about a lot is in the aftermath of leaving the ACC, that there just maybe weren't the same super big-time anticipated games on the schedule that people said, hey, I got to be there for that. I want to be a part of that thing. And
I don't know. I get it. It might be tough, when you first step in, going up against programs like that, but I think it goes a long way to say we're not going to be afraid, right? Like, we're going to schedule tough teams, and we're going to try to get people excited to come down and be here and embrace what we're doing.
Right, absolutely. I mean, you have to. I mean, especially if if you're a competitor and you believe that you're doing something great and you're working hard and you know you're going to get your guys right. I mean, why not? Why not say this? We're fearless. Fear the Turks. We're fearless. So why not just go all out? I mean, especially if you believe that much. And I applaud them for that. And I think it's going to be great. I know it's going to be great. And to get the fans back in there and see what's going to happen. So I'm really looking forward to this season and being around campus and being around the guys a lot more.
Of course, the irony of him scheduling UCLA is it's going to be a conference matchup in future years, which is just so
That's crazy.
right.
The new thing, I'm like, oh my goodness, like wow.
It's so completely insane, dude. It's just nuts.
Times are changing, man.
Bro.
We thought when Virginia Tech and those
Right.
college came into the ACC, we was like, okay, and then now you see where it's going, but I think it'll be good. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be different, obviously,
Yeah, imagine me going back to 2002 and telling McDonald's All-American Travis Garrison, hey, one day Maryland and UCLA are going to play conference games against each other in the Big Ten, and see how your brain handles that.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't be able to comprehend it. Like, how?
Right. What part of that sentence makes any sense whatsoever?
None of it.
Exactly right, dude. It is so crazy, man. That is so wild. So let me wrap with this. When you do meet with, if you had one piece of advice that you would pass along to Kevin Willard about taking on this job at this point and knowing this area and what works with players and what works with fans, what would be to you the most significant thing that you would want Kevin Willard to know about this job?
Wow. Oh man, you put me right on the spot. Okay.
You do this now. This is you're a podcaster. You gotta talk about these things.
Nah, I mean, obviously, man, the area. When you win, things are great. When you lose, it's not. Basically, our mindset was, us in this locker room is what matters the most. Like, no offense to the outside, the fans or anything like that, but I mean, as long as we stay true to ourselves and stay together, then anything is possible. I mean, I experienced that when I was out in Maryland, and we did amazing things when we just focused on that. But just don't let the outside affect what's going on the inside. And then obviously, dealing with this area and kids in this area and recruiting this area, I mean, they want to see the coach and they want to be personable and they want that affection and like in the sense of like let them know how bad you want them and go after them because we have so much talent in this area. And I know a lot of the Maryland fans are tired of missing out and all the guys that's great that's in this area but go elsewhere. So
you think that Jameer Young's going to lead to the DeMatha drought being over? You think that that we're going to see more DeMatha kids in the coming years make the jump?
I think that helped a lot, especially how much people are talking about it. Even I'm saying stuff that's getting mentioned, and I'm mentioning I was the last player to come out of DeMatha to go to Maryland,
which is nuts.
So, I mean, but I think it's a cool thing. I know he's excited. I'm excited. DeMatha is excited. So I think now that they have somebody that played at DeMatha that's right down the street, I think that helps.
It can't hurt. I'd like to hope that it can't hurt. I hope there's progress. All right.
Times are changing, so
Travis, what do we need to plug? Where can people find out more about August 6th? Like, can they get tickets? Give me all the details on what people need to know about this Maryland-Georgetown Alumni Basketball League game.
So basically, it's on. You can get tickets on Eventbrite. I'll tell you right now. They can find it on Eventbrite, the Alumni Basketball League, Georgetown versus University of Maryland. They can go there. They also can go to the website, which I'm about to tell you.
Is it ablballin.com?
Yep. Absolutely. Okay. Yep. There you go. Yeah. So they can find all the information out there about the game, tickets, future games, just to stay in touch with what's happening, what's going on. But the tickets are on Eventbrite, and it's only, I believe, about 1,500 tickets being sold. So if you want to get a ticket, they got to hop on it like ASAP.
All right, go do that right now. And at the ABL USA on Twitter. Of course, Travis is at TG Think First on Twitter as well. Travis Garrison, always appreciate you, bro. Really looking forward to this, man. This is really cool, and hope that it continues to grow. I love everything about it, brother. Great catching up with you. Let's do it again soon, all right?
Man, absolutely. I appreciate you so much, man. You can take it easy. And I will look forward to seeing you.
Thanks, bud. Travis Garrison checking in with us here on GCR. Again, August 6th. I mean, I don't know what else there's to say. I think it's great. I'm not trying to blow it up and make it seem like, I think that there would be 20,000 people coming out to games or anything like that. I think it's a cool thing. I think it's really neat. I think it's a neat concept. I think it's a neat idea. I think that there are fans that something like this is for, and that there'll be, there's some. Look, it's not Juan Dixon and Joe Smith and all that, but like Anthony Cowan and Melo Trimble are very popular players with Maryland fans. I think people will be really excited to go watch those guys play, wearing the colors and doing the whole thing again. I like it. It's a yes for me, dog, if I was Randy Jackson. Thumbs up. Can it sustain? We'll find out. I don't know. I don't know enough about that side of it, but I like the concept. I think, if you know what it is that you're dealing with, it's a winner, potentially, and we'll find out how it plays out. All right, there's a really neat local connection to one of the biggest sporting events in the world going on at the moment, and we're going to tell you all about it next. You're watching a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Hey Birdland, join in on the fun and celebrate the 30th anniversary of Oriole Park at Camden Yards on Saturday, August 6th, as the O's take on the Pittsburgh Pirates at 5:05. The first 15,000 fans 15 and over will receive a 30th anniversary Oriole Park t-shirt. Then stay post-game for the Birdland Summer Music Series presented by Miller Lite I Love the 90s concert, featuring Drew Hill with a special performance by Cisco and Smash Mouth. Tickets start as low as $15 at Orioles.com/tickets.
Sports fans, the wait is over. The all-new FanDuel Sportsbook is now open at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. This is your chance to win big right in your own backyard. Bet on every sport with self-service kiosks and watch all of the action from the best seat in the house. Make every moment more at the all-new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
Get your tickets now for the premier high school lacrosse games of the year. The 17th annual All-America Lacrosse Boys and Girls Senior All-Star Games will be on Saturday, July 30th at Johns Hopkins' historic Homewood Field. This is your chance to see the future lacrosse stars up close and in person as they showcase why they are the best in the country. Go to allamericalacrosse.com and get your tickets now.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Summer is in full swing, and so is the summer seasonal menu at Glory Days Grill. Start with the opener, flash fried pork belly with their popular Korean No. 2 sauce, and try their South Carolina barbecue chicken, or back by popular demand, the lobster roll with grilled corn. Also try the irresistible crab and lobster fries, or the very berry salad with chicken. And for dessert, the Cracker Jack sundae with a waffle, ice cream, and Cracker Jacks. This menu will be gone. Find out more and get your order in at glorydaysgrill.com. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
The 2022 baseball season is in full swing, and the future is brighter than ever for your Baltimore Orioles. I'm Paul Valley.
And I'm Zach Goodman.
And together we bring you the Bat Around every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon with everything you need to know about the Orioles and baseball as a whole. From veterans like Cedric Mullins, Austin Hayes, and Ryan Mountcastle,
to young stars like Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez, and DL Hall.
We've got you covered for every game, every pitch,
and every debut.
You can watch us at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline and Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, or you can listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. So join us live on the Bat Around every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon right here at PressBox Sports. It's statistically proven that the show sounds better if you're not wearing pants. Like me, right now. You're listening to Glenn Clark Radio.
And we continue on a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. Again, continue to get your responses in at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter or Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. And somebody is going to win a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill just for participating in Would You Rather Wednesday today. All right, today's program. Hang on a second. We're going to chat with John Baynon here, John Baynon in just 1 second. As he's going to join us, tell about all of his local connection to one of the biggest sporting events currently in the world. We'll do that in just a second. I did get a message from someone earlier today. The idea, again, the plan, we're not taking more time off. This is not I know we didn't do a show on Monday. We're back. We're making it work. We are working through. I know apparently we had some issues with the phone a little bit earlier, and I apologize for that. But we are working through it. We're back. We're good. So and I mean this, if there's something about the presentation of the show, normally when somebody complains, by the way, is he good? Is he on the phone? Yeah, please. Normally when somebody complains about something, my response back is get bent. That's not the case right now. If there is something about the presentation of the show that you would say, hey, this is a little bit difficult right now, this is something that please tell us. There are so many moving parts to moving a studio, rebuilding it, trying to put in some upgrades, that sometimes things get lost in the shuffle. So if there's any sort of issue whatsoever, just tell us. Just say, hey, having a problem. Just please let me know. And we'll work on it. Because sometimes we don't catch everything. And I deal with this, by the way, I'll make it a comparison. When the power goes out at my house, I say to my wife, hey, did we call and report it? And her response is typically, well, no, somebody else will. And I get that, like, when something's maybe a little bit off technically, you're like, well, somebody else is going to say something. Not thinking that everybody's saying the exact same thing. And so nobody ends up being the one to call and say, here's the problem. The other night, power went out at our house. I asked my wife if she called it in. She's like, nah, I didn't call it in. I call, and they say, we didn't have a report about this. So I am, for this week specifically, open to criticism. Something that's wrong, something that's problematic, whatever it is, tell me. And we're going to work to get it fixed as we have relaunched from our new studio right here in Towson, and we are very excited about it. All right, joining us now, this is a neat local story. John Baynon from Baynon Sports is with us here on GCR. John, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Glenn. How are you?
I'm great. It's great to chat with you. So let me just start. Give me a background. Who is John Baynon? What is Baynon Sports all about? How did you get into this world?
Well, I've been in it's my 52nd year. When I graduated from Towson University, I got into the sports surfacing business up in Philadelphia, and I was with the wood flooring manufacturer, and then we got into synthetic flooring with poured in place polyurethane, and we started right here in Baltimore, doing Essex Community College in Catonsville. And in 1977, I started building running tracks, and I did track at University of Maryland, and we've grown, and now we build about 300 tracks a year. We manufacture all our own polyurethane out in Hunt Valley at our factory. We have offices in Austin, Texas, and Denver, Colorado, Fresno, California, and Portland, Oregon.
That's remarkable. So what drove your interest? And I'm not asking this to try to minimize it. It's something that I've just never thought about. I've never been anywhere and said, I wonder what it's like to make this surface over here. It's just something that I never thought. Why was it something that was interesting to you and something that you've been able to now do, as you point out, for 5 decades?
Well, we always were constantly trying to improve the performance of the athletes and provide a safe surface, something that they can train on day in and day out and compete at the highest level. And so I have a great staff, great chemists. We do a lot of R&D. We work with a lot of the major shoe manufacturers, with Nike, with New Balance, and now we're doing the new Under Armour facility in Port Covington.
So
Well, I mean, and even bigger than that, I mean, the World Athletics Championships, which for those know, that's the World Track and Field Championship going on right now in Oregon. That's a really big deal, John. Like, how does that happen?
Well, we've been on campus at the University of Oregon for over 30 years, and they host all the major track and field championships in the United States. And the fastest times on U.S. soil have been run on our track at the University of Oregon. And fortunately, Oregon was able to win the bid to have it this year. And the times are absolutely fantastic. It's the first time that they've hosted the World Athletics Championships on U.S. soil, and we're very, very proud that it's on our surface. But just the other day, Otto Bolden, the sportscaster for NBC, said that this was the fastest track in the world.
Wow, that is remarkable. John Baynon Sports is with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. So I understand, John, I'm a dumb guy, right? Like I didn't pay attention most of the time in chemistry. It wasn't for me. I whine about sports for a living. That's what I do. Dumb guy, why? What makes your track faster? What makes it so world class?
Well, that's a good question. And we've developed a product that supports the athlete and then returns the energy to the athlete in the direction that he or she needs it. Hence, great times. And the beauty of our product is that you can train day in and day out, compete at the highest level, but at these major meets, it's designed for the middle distance and distance runners as well as your sprinters and hurdlers. And hence, it's the preferred product. If you listen to the athletes, the Jamaican sprinters, they love coming to Hayward Field to compete.
I mean, it's got to be, music to your ears when you hear those types of things, John. It's got to be quite fulfilling when you hear that type of praise.
Absolutely, it really is.
What's next, I guess, is the next dumb guy question, right? Like, where do you go? How does it get bigger or better than the World Championships?
Well, the next one we're going to go after is the 2028 Olympic Games in LA. Then that way they'll have an American company providing the track for the Olympic Games on U.S. soil.
Oh, that would be a really big deal. I mean, that would be obviously that would just be overwhelming to get that opportunity.
Yes,
how does that process work? Like, is there someone you can call? Hey, you guys thought about how you're surfacing your track yet? Like, how does that even work? You trying to land the Olympics?
Well, there's an organizing committee, and we've already been contacted by USA Track and Field for training sites in LA, and all the major tracks in the Los Angeles area are our tracks. So they want to be able to have tracks that they can train on and also compete on the Olympics. So we'll be meeting with the organizing committee in LA, but it's a pretty small community, track and field. So in this community, we're well known, and especially in the United States.
Shame on me, right? And John, I'll openly admit it. Your story is remarkable. I mean, it's really incredible of what you built. You're clearly an industry leader, and yet I'm a dumb guy, but I'm a guy who does sports, and I didn't know your story. So shame on me for that. And I'm glad that we can try to help share it to others, because it's quite incredible what it is that you have accomplished and what you've built, and creating a business and jobs here in this area. I can only imagine this deep into your career, the pride in what it is that Baynon Sports has become and what it's been able to do to leave an impact on this community.
Well, we're very proud of it. It's not a one-man show, but we have 375 employees, and everybody's very passionate about what we do.
And it shows. I mean, the success that you've had, the sheer numbers of 7,500 installations in over 20 countries, including now, as we talk about the World Championships and hopefully the Olympics next. BeynonSports.com. That's BEYNON Sports.com, correct, is where people can find out more about what you do?
Absolutely, Glenn.
John,
Absolutely.
I really, first of all, congratulations. Like I can't say that enough. Congratulations. Secondarily, we are going to root like hell for you guys and what it is that you're doing. May the times this week continue to be blazing fast, and may there be no doubt about what the surface should be for 2028 in the Olympics. John, thank you for taking a couple minutes for us.
Thank you very much, Glenn. Thanks for having me.
John Baynon, that is a really cool local story. And again, shame on me. I had no idea. About the incredible success of Baynon Sports. It was, I had, I think I can just add, I had some friends who reached out and said, hey, you know about this? Have you heard about this story? Are you familiar with it? And I'm like, nope, I don't know anything about it. They said, do you think it's something you want to learn more about? I said, yeah, I think I would. You're an industry leader. And right here in Hunt Valley, in our backyard, and shame on me, but it's remarkable. John Baynon, Baynon Sports. Again, the World Championships continue this week out at it's Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon. They call themselves Track Town. Track and field is monstrous at the University of Oregon. It's like the place. The Nike connection, kind of makes sense that would be somewhere where track and field is just massive and matters a great deal. And they're hosting the World Championships right now. Devin Allen, who was the one that was defaulted, I don't know how familiar everybody is with this story. So the hurdles the other day, Devin Allen, I did not know this. Your start time has to be a 10th second after the gun. Because you're not supposed to anticipate the gun. You're supposed to go after you hear it. And essentially they figured out, like, if you go after you hear it, it's going to take you a 10th of a second to react to it. So when I heard false start, I, like all the other idiots on the planet, was like, oh, well, he went before the gun. No, that's not the case. He went after the gun. It was just not quite a full 10th of a second. I don't remember if the number was 100th or 1,000th, something like that. That's weird. Like, that is a weird rule. That he went after the gun, but too soon after the gun. And that's the reason why he was kicked out of the race. Devin Allen, who I believe is trying out with the Eagles.
That sounds right.
I believe that's correct, right? That's what he's trying. I mean, I think, didn't that happen once before where there was a track star who was given a football tryout? And
was it it wasn't Marquise Goodwin, was it?
Oh, Marquise Goodwin wasn't given a tryout. Marquise Goodwin was an NFL player.
Well, yeah, but he was really fast.
No, he was really fast. But I mean, like an Olympic caliber track athlete once before who tried out. Devin Allen. Yeah, by the way, it is the Eagles. Who was it? Track star NFL tryout. I'm probably just gonna get a bunch of Devin Allen. Yeah. That's probably all I'm gonna get. I don't know. I feel like it did happen once before this. I really feel like it happened, but whatevs. I won't know the answer. If you know, tell me. That way I'll be less stupid. All right. Griffin, I need your Ronaldo Nehemiah. Thank you, John Colson. John Colson coming through. That is exactly the answer. Ronaldo Nehemiah. Now I got to remember who it was with. Ronaldo Nehemiah.
I can't say I recognize that name at all.
Oh, you got to go back a ways.
Okay.
And Ronaldo Nehemiah actually played for a while with the 49ers. Oh, man. 100%. Was a world-class track star. Played for a couple years with the 49ers. But you got to go back to the 1980s, early 1980s, for when that occurred. 100%. Now I'm starting to think there was one other one. Now I'm starting to think there was one more between Ronaldo Nehemiah and now. Between now and Devin Allen. There was one other world-class track athlete who didn't make it, who just got a tryout, nothing more. But there was a lot of pomp and circumstance because it might have been like in an Olympic year or something like that, where fresh off the Olympics, another track athlete was given the opportunity to try out for an NFL team. We're going to waste time on it. I don't want to. Ronaldo Nehemiah is a great answer, though. Great answer. Of course, Ronaldo Nehemiah went to Maryland.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. One of the most remarkable athletes ever. Great one that I totally blanked on. All right. Did you think of who the other one was? Did you think of who it was? Who? Jim Thorpe. No, it's not Jim Thorpe. Get out of here.
No, I'm thinking of somebody between the 90s, the 2000s, the 2000s, somewhere in the more modern, in the last 30 years. And it might have been, it's not Michael Johnson. Somebody who was a notable track athlete who, like, fresh off a track accomplishment was given the opportunity to try. This is what the show has devolved into, is me just sitting here trying to see if I can remember something. Super helpful.
You want to keep going?
No, I don't. I want to get your responses for Would You Rather Wednesday. Would You Rather Wednesday is brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Again, Glory Days Grill's got the summer seasonal menu available right now. It is outstanding. Outstanding. South Carolina barbecue chicken. Oh, they know how to barbecue a chicken in South Carolina, my friends. Not in North Carolina. They have no idea how to handle barbecue. They don't know what barbecue is, but in South Carolina. Anyway, also the lobster roll and the corn, the crab and lobster fries, so much more. All available right now on the summer seasonal menu at Glory Days Grill. Somebody today is winning a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill. Let's do it. Numero uno. Would you rather? Griffin, you are single. You didn't have anyone leave you. You're just a single gentleman. You, the rest of us, unfortunately, our spouses has left us, and we're probably quite sad about that. This was not your doing. This was I come home today, and Mrs. Clark says, sorry, I realized how much better I could do. And again, the response from everybody else is like, well, yeah. I mean, like, what took you so long? Your spouse has left you. But there's good news. That good news can be the Orioles make the World Series. There's a couple of you, including my buddy Stone from 105.7 The Fan, have pointed out, not win the World Series. I'm not telling you they're going to win or lose. I'm just giving you they'll make it. So they could win. They could. But I'm not giving you that. I'm just giving you that they're literally going to make the World Series. Or you get a personal phone call and an invite to spend a weekend in Cabo with Emily Ratajkowski. Now, a few of you have asked further questions about that. I feel like I shouldn't have to be so descriptive. She makes the call. This is not an elaborate prank. This is not you and like a million other people are going to Cabo and, like she's the head of some Ponzi scheme or something like that. She wants to spend a private weekend with you as her date in Cabo. Okay? Which would you rather?
I think the answer is very clear. You go with Emily Ratajkowski.
Yeah?
And wherever she wants to go.
All right, fair enough. Now, would it be different if I had said the Orioles win the World Series?
I don't know.
See, it's funny because
I mean, think about the emotional damage that comes in. You come home and your spouse is gone.
Oh, I'm devastated.
Yeah.
I'm devastated.
Are the Orioles going to be able to heal that?
No, not a chance. Now, somebody might say, is one weekend with Emily Ratajkowski going to heal it? And the answer, again, is no. But I think it goes a further way to getting healed. Then the other thing, too, is the paparazzi is well after Emily Ratajkowski. So now who's this guy?
Yeah.
Who is this mysterious man?
Suddenly Glenn Clark Radio's got a lot more.
There's that. And then the other thing, too, is even if Emily Ratajkowski says she's done after the weekend, well, I think there might be others who would say, no, if Emily Ratajkowski.
It's that snowball effect, though.
Right, like that girl that you liked over at the eBay store, that girl? Oh, God, does that even mean anything to you at all?
The eBay store?
Oh, God.
Is that what you said?
Oh, God. Oh.
Isn't eBay a website?
I always forget how young you are, Griffin. Always forget.
Sorry.
You ever seen The 40-Year-Old Virgin?
No, I actually haven't watched that movie.
I'm going to need you to fix that quickly. There's no baseball for another couple nights, okay? You got some time here. I need you to fix that, all right? If it requires you, I'm going to guess it's streaming somewhere. If not, I'm going to guess there's an illegal website that you can stream it from. If not, I will pay the money for you to watch The 40-Year-Old Virgin, which isn't the most important comedy of the last 20 years. It's not even maybe in the top 10, but it's important enough. It's on the list. Have you seen There's Something About Mary?
Oh, no, not yet.
We're going to start putting together a list for you, pal. We're going to start putting together a list of things you need to do.
Sounds good.
So the gal, the fairly good-looking lady over at the eBay store that you've had your eye on for some time, you think she's not going to notice that you spent a weekend in Cabo with Emily Ratajkowski? And you think she might say to herself, hey, that Griffin fella, I've always ignored him when he came in here. Hanging out with Jonah Hill while Jonah Hill was trying to buy these shoes and didn't understand they're only available on eBay. I feel like maybe I should call him because he definitely put off vibes that he was interested in me. And if Emily Ratajkowski's interested in him, then maybe I should be too. I think it would go a long way to the next step in the process. I don't know if I had said it would be very difficult for me if the Orioles win in the World Series. Because I am a believer that there are other fish in the sea, even beyond Emily Ratajkowski, right? I understand. I am a believer that there are more fish in the sea, and that even if Mrs. Clark, and I want to make this abundantly clear, I hope she doesn't. I hope that I continue to bamboozle her for the foreseeable future. But if she were to, I believe that, life would go on at some point. And the Orioles winning the World Series would be a very big deal. But without the promise that they're winning it, I probably side with you. Ken Zales, trying to be a hero. I'll take the World Series. Okay, sure. Ivan, I'll send you a postcard from Cabo. Brian, also trying to be a hero. Give me the World Series. Look at you heroes. Look at you. I'm more about what's best for the community, not best for me. I'm so sure. I'm so sure that's your actual decision. From Chris. Chris says, oh, no. Chris is trying. Glenn, is there a promise of you-know-what? You're going on a weekend getaway with Emily Ratajkowski. I just don't feel like we should have to answer more questions about this. I feel like you can just figure it out. You figure it out, okay? God, it's so wrong with us. From Dave. Dave says, Glenn, because there's a chance that my wife does read my Twitter, of course the answer is the World Series. Why would I ever want to have anything to do with Emily Ratajkowski? She's nowhere near as good as my wife. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. That is a good answer. All right, number 2. Would you rather the Orioles indeed trade Trey Mancini to the Mets for a low-level prospect and miss the playoffs by a game, or they keep him, make the playoffs, but he signs with the Red Sox after the season?
Ooh, that one's much tougher.
Not for everybody.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'd very... we make the playoffs. I mean, but we still...
But no promise of anything once you're in the playoffs.
Right.
No promise of anything. Not even winning a game.
I mean, we missed the playoffs by a game.
The scenario...
Even without Trey.
Yeah, you trade Trey, and then you fall a game short of the playoffs. And he stays with the Mets. That's one of the other things that people couldn't he just sign with the Red Sox anyway? He's going to stay with the Mets. He's going to be non-threatening. He's going to stay with the Mets moving forward. There's neither scenario where he comes back to Baltimore. Because that would
really tough. I mean, I can't really. What they're doing 3-game series now in that wild card round.
Is it still? I know it was for the COVID year. I don't know if it still is.
Yeah. Well, so it still seems very unlikely that we could win a playoff series.
That's true.
And you know what? Let's keep Trey. Let's live it out this season and see how far we can go with Trey. And then if he becomes a Red Sox, then
that's what most everybody's everybody's giving me. The answer is always the playoffs, and I hear you. And maybe I would need to portray the picture.
Isn't DeGrom pitching in low A? Is that so? So maybe he's the prospect that.
No, I don't think that's going to be the one that you're going to get. Unfortunately, I got bad news. I don't think you're getting Jacob DeGrom in return. I guess my response would be, if I knew they were doing something in the playoffs, I don't know that I feel as strongly about this if I just get in. I think it's easy to say this now. I think the moment that Trey Mancini is wearing a Red Sox uniform, it becomes far more personal. And I think this is one of those things in hindsight that, if I did this a year from now and said, hey, we can go back and rewrite history, and the Orioles got swept out of the first round of the playoffs, now we just make it so they miss by a game, and Trey Mancini's not a Red Sox, and you don't have to see that, and he's not coming back, I think we might have a different feeling about it now. I think because I say they make the playoffs, there's this that could be anything. It's sort of like the Magic Beans, right? They could win the World Series if they make the playoffs. Whereas your approach in saying let's be more practical about that, they're probably not winning the World Series, and it's going to be tough to win. I mean, I say it's tough to win a series. It's not that tough to win a series if you get in. But the reality is they're not likely to do anything of significance is the point that you're trying to make. And so how do you measure that trade-off? And I've said before, the playoffs to me aren't accomplishing something remarkable this season doesn't have to be the playoffs. I said a few times, playing a relevant baseball game on Labor Day in Baltimore a packed crowd, relevant baseball game on Labor Day is an unreal accomplishment for this team. Anything beyond that, kind of gravy for me. Relevant baseball in September is my pie in the sky for the 2022 Orioles. So if they're in the playoff race until the final day of the season, we have already surpassed my pie in the sky for this team. And if that means that I don't have to watch Trey Mancini play for the Red Sox...
Yeah, I mean, now you're kind of talking me into that, because if we trade Trey Mancini and this team keeps winning, because I think the big argument about not trading Trey and re-signing Trey is because he's such a leader. But if they trade Trey and then keep winning, that could probably even mean more for the future.
100%. That they were able to,
that we can continue to play well.
That would be a positive sign about coming. Now, not that I'm saying that if they make the playoffs, it would entirely be about Trey Mancini either, right? Like, I just, to me, I get it. The playoffs, it's we love the word, we love the feeling, and the atmosphere at a playoff game. I think we all remember the way that we felt in 2012 when we went to that first playoff game against the Yankees. I know we all talk about the Delman Young game for good reason, but I was in tears in 2012, sitting in left field with my dad watching a playoff game because I legitimately thought it was never going to happen. That's how bad things were baseball-wise in Baltimore for so long. And we didn't go to a game together in 96 or 97. So I just sort of, I remember talking about it on the show, like during the miserable Orioles years, like I kind of don't know if I'm ever going to go to a playoff game with my dad. I don't know if that'll ever happen. And then it happened. And in 2012, we sat there in left field, and I cried. So I get it. I understand why we feel that way about the word playoffs. But for this team, that ain't this was a magical year is not going to be defined by whether they make the playoffs or not. It will be defined by this was a magical year, a truly magical year if they play relevant baseball games in September. That's why my opinion is a little bit different than everybody else's. And number 3, Would You Rather Wednesday, again, brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Brian Powell just asked me the dumbest question ever. Jonathan Papelbon apparently tweeted, "Hey, ESPN, when y'all are ready to do a documentary on the real captain who whipped A-Rod's ass, let me know." Jonathan Papelbon isn't relevant enough to get one part of a documentary on a 30 for 30. Brian Powell is a stupid Red Sox fan, so he doesn't get to have opinions about things. Sorry. I'm being a bit of a jerk, but I stand by it. He's not allowed to have opinions. But speaking of the 30 for 30, would you rather you have to spend all of next week watching, rewatching, and literally writing a dissertation about all 7 parts of Derek Jeter 30 for 30, or you spend the week shadowing that douche that was at the All-Star game yesterday, elbowing kids to try to get autographs?
Yeah, I mean, just a week shadowing that guy?
A week shadowing that guy. And by the way, a few things. There have already been people that have been like, well, I'll just pop earbuds in. No. You can't. You have to understand the intent of the rules of Would You Rather Wednesday.
I think I'm following that guy. I mean,
Really?
Yeah, I mean, to write a ton of stuff about. I mean, I think I could make myself interested in it, but it's just that's not worth it.
It's weird. I actually agree with you.
Yeah.
I think I would be. It's gonna suck no matter what. There's nothing good here, but I actually think I would drive myself insane trying to sit down and write a dissertation about a Derek Jeter. I mean, I think that I would become Howard Hughes. I would start peeing in bottles, something like that. It would make me ill trying to do that. This guy, it's going to piss me off. It's going to rub me the wrong way. But by the way, I don't know if you guys have heard, I've had terrible bosses before.
So we're just like following around him with bags of signed baseballs, and
I don't know exactly what the job would entail. Like maybe you're his security, whatever it is. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, but you have to shadow that guy everywhere you go. It's gonna
people see that you're with him.
Yeah, you're gonna be ill about it, but I don't think it's gonna be quite as bad as the insanity that you're gonna feel with the Derek Jeter thing. I think
people can remember his face. They won't look.
Yeah, they'll forget all about you. No doubt about it. All right, continue to get me your responses for Would You Rather Wednesday. Brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Somebody's winning that $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill. Tidbit brought to you today by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour. Stan, Danny Black, and Zach Goodman from the Bat Around did a fun show on Monday, recapping what the Orioles did in the first few rounds of the MLB draft. You can find that right now by going to facebook.com/PressBoxSports or PressBoxOnline.com/video. What you got?
All right, so a little bit of some All-Star tidbit. Jorge Lopez, he was the lone Orioles representation in the All-Star game last night. He faced 2 hitters and retired both of them on 3 pitches. I know you saw that.
I did not watch, but I'm aware.
Yeah, I almost missed it because I kind of had it on the background.
You were invested in the All-Star. I'm trying to think.
I wasn't invested.
I'm trying to because for
not
years,
as invested as I was in the Derby.
For years, I would say I still watched the All-Star game because it was the only thing to watch, right? And then I don't remember who said this to me. They're like, you don't have to just watch something because you have to watch sports every night.
So did you watch? You didn't watch any of it? They had Alec Manoah mic'd up.
Everybody's talking about that.
It was pretty interesting. It was,
I'm being honest.
And then they had Nestor Cortez. I mean, of course, it was the freaking Blue Jays pitcher and the Yankees battery. So it was Jose Trevino. Trevino was a pretty cool guy.
Okay.
But Nestor Cortez.
You're not going to sell me on that.
Mic'd up.
That's Orioles legend, Nestor Cortez, of course.
They had so many Yankees mic'd up. It was very annoying.
I think it's neat that they did that. A lot of people have talked about you should do that with real games. I've always thought it was awkward how much miking up they do in real games. I think that you should limit it to, at most, the manager or a player. I particularly like it when it's a pitcher who's not pitching that day. I think that makes a lot of sense.
John Means coming on every broadcast.
Well, John Means should just be the third part of the broadcast booth. I mean, he's been unbelievable in that role. But I've always thought we're trying to go a step too far with actual games. These players are supposed to be trying. They should not be distracted as they do that. Really. There's a lot at stake. I think we go too far, but I love it when
Julio Rodriguez was mic'd up. They had a fly ball to center. He kind of skipped into it because he almost overran it.
Okay. I mean, maybe players are utterly capable of not thinking about the fact they're mic'd up and just playing, right? Maybe I'm wrong about that, and that's the deal. I'm all for more innovations in sports broadcasting. I'm all for it. It's trying to improve the experience for everybody.
All right. So anyway,
but it's not going to get me to watch the All-Star game. Those days. Somebody asked me the other day, what if in 3 years it's 4 starter? The Orioles have 4 starters again. Would you watch that? Maybe. And it's a maybe. You're.
I think you would.
I think then you wonder if you're going to miss out on somebody doing something special that you care about. And I'm not trying to be dismissive.
But I guess in this day of social media, you won't.
That's the thing, right? I just still don't think it could make me feel like it was a good investment of my time. Last night, what did I watch? I told you guys before. I'd fallen behind on The Boys and on Stranger Things. So I'm now fully caught up. I finished the season of The Boys, and I've got 30 minutes left of the 2.5-hour Stranger Things episode. So that's what I did. And I wanted to do that because I want to start where we... The Shadows. The hell's the name of the show? What we do in the Shadows. I want to get into the new season of What We Do in the Shadows. So I got a thing I want to move on to. It's just, to me, better content than an All-Star game is. And the Orioles play again on Friday, and I am fully invested in every Orioles game now. So I got 2 more nights to try to knock out other things that I want to watch.
All right. So there were 2 runs scored in the first inning as well last night.
Cool.
Just disappointing for me.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You bet. No, I forgot about that. That's right.
So that was disappointing.
Damn. I'm sorry.
And then, Tony Gonsolin took the loss.
What'd you put? How much did you put on it?
I just put $5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So. But Tony Gonsolin.
Oh
took
yeah,
the loss.
I saw that, and he hasn't lost a game.
So of course, he loses.
That's hilarious.
All right. So it's the 5th year in a row that the Orioles have only been able to send 1 All-Star to the All-Star game, trailing the longest stretch of the Birds only sending 1 All-Star by 1 year. 6-year stretch from 2006 to 2011, where they only sent a singular All-Star.
Right, because 2005, remember?
Yeah, no, 2000.
Right.
So it almost was an 11-year stretch. Cause it was
well, I mean, but they were really good for the first half.
So they went, and then they went on a streak of 5 straight years of sending at least 3 All-Stars from 2012 to 2016.
Sure.
So hopefully that changes next year. And all right, so anyway, so my question's about Orioles All-Stars in history. So Jorge Lopez, he's a pitcher, became the 24th Orioles pitcher to be named to the All-Star game since 1969.
Jesus Christ.
I don't think you can name all 24, but I'd be very impressed if you can get 14 of these 24. I think you should be able to easily get the 14.
Oh man, I'm gonna end
not
up,
easily,
this is
but
so many. Okay, so Jim Palmer.
There you go.
Zach Britton.
Correct.
Chris Tillman.
Yes.
Mike Mussina.
Yes.
Does this count Jorge Lopez or not?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Jorge Lopez.
Jorge Lopez, 24.
Old Georgie boy. Since you said 69?
Yes.
So McNally.
Yep.
I'll say Cuellar.
Yes. So and those 5, so McNally, Cuellar, Palmer, Mussina, and Britton are the only Oriole pitchers to ever be sent twice representing the Orioles. More than once.
Okay.
Just interesting.
Was there a Scott Erickson in there?
No.
I'm mildly surprised by that. Mildly, though.
No Scott Erickson.
Let's say...
You're keeping track of how many you named?
I've got 7 so far.
Okay.
Let's say Randy Myers.
No.
What?
No Randy Myers.
How did Randy Myers not get named an All-Star that year? What the hell is going on in the world?
What year was he?
Was it 96 or 97? I don't remember. Well, the other
let
one would have
me
been
check
97, right? Because 96 would have been Lee Smith. Did I do the math? So was Lee Smith an All-Star?
Did I miss? Hold on, I thought I posted.
Oh, I mean, it's totally possible that he wasn't. But it's just insane because he was nails. I don't know. I'm gonna guess Lee Smith though, just for the sake of it.
Yes.
Okay, Lee Smith. How about Dennis Martinez?
Is that Tippy Martinez?
No. But Tippy Martinez would have been a guess too.
Yeah, sorry.
It was Tippy
no Dennis Martinez.
But Tippy Martinez was?
Yes.
Okay. Makes sense. How about oh my God. How about George Sherrill was an All-Star, wasn't he?
He was. He was in fact an All-Star in 2008. The lone Orioles representative.
I feel like there was another closer too.
Yes, there was. Couple actually.
All right, Greg Olson.
Yes, Greg Olson is one. Not either of the ones I was thinking of.
Okay. Armando Benitez.
No.
That's not that surprising.
Think more.
Was it
more
B.J.
recent.
Ryan?
B.J. Ryan was one of them.
Jesus Christ!
But also think more recently.
There's
a lot more recent that you.
A lot more recent?
Yeah.
A closer?
Well, relievers, yeah.
Well, there's a big difference in reliever or closer.
Okay, well, there is one more closer in the past decade, and then a couple more relievers.
A closer in the past decade. I got Chris Ray?
No,
that wasn't even the past decade.
2012, the closer of 2012.
Oh, Jim Johnson. Yeah, damn it, Jim Johnson. And there's other relievers?
Yes.
Well, now you're kind of cheating to help me get the 14. Yeah. So, Darren O'Day.
Darren O'Day.
And Brad Brock.
Brad Brock.
Okay.
2015, O'Day. 2016, Brad Brock. And then 2019, who was our All-Star?
Oh, John Means.
Yeah,
John Means.
Yeah. So you're doing a lot better than I thought you would.
Well, yeah, but I mean, come on. Now you're helping, so it sort of doesn't count.
Mike Flanagan.
Mike Flanagan. Well, I probably would have gotten that if
it seemed like you were ready to give up.
All right, fine. It's 19. We got to go.
Pat Dobson.
Oh, I could. It should have added him when I was doing the rest of the guys. Yeah.
I said Flanagan. Stanhouse. Don Stanhouse.
Don Stanhouse. I didn't know he was an All-Star.
Stone.
Steve Stone definitely was an All-Star.
Scott
Damn it.
McGregor.
Yeah.
Tippy Martinez. Mike Boddicker.
Mike Boddicker, sure.
Don Ace.
Don Ossie, yeah.
Ossie.
Yeah.
You said Greg Olson. Jimmy Key in 19.
Jimmy Key! He did it. He got off to a hell of a start.
B.J. Ryan, and I believe that is everybody. You said Tillman.
Yep. That's the whole group. All right, very
well
good.
Done.
Tubular brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Events at sportssocialmd.com. Whatever it is, whatever event is coming up that you think that's the place where you want to be, reserve for your group. And again, start thinking about your football season plans because I think that would be a good regular place to hang out either for Ravens games, Thursday night games, Monday night games, whatever it is. There's nothing. This is an abysmal. I mean, this is the most abysmal. I can't.
There's no the basketball tournament?
There is.
Okay.
I can't believe we're still at this place where like nobody has stepped up and said maybe we should provide a better sports option for the night after the All-Star game.
Didn't you said the Futures game?
Or
somebody else said that?
100% reference the fact that they're still doing. They moved the complaint about the Futures
today
game.
Would be a perfect day.
The complaint about the Futures game was that it was on a day where there were other baseball games. Well, it wasn't 9 a.m., but it was in the morning as it was the peak hour. Well, it was 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Okay.
That is true. It was noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, whatever it was. They played it.
They moved it from Sunday to Saturday just to put it on against more baseball games. It's insanity what they've done with the Futures game. Put it on Wednesday. Not going to be for me. It's not going to make me say, I've got to sit down and watch 3 hours of this, but at least it's better than the alternatives. The problem being that you're asking guys to give up what would be their break, too. There's a reason why we're not doing like Bay Sox and Norfolk segments this week. They're also on their breaks this week. Somebody should step in and do something. It was so great last year when the NBA Finals pushed back to July, and they were still going on this week, and then night after was a basketball game. Anyway, the ESPYs are tonight at 8 o'clock on ABC. The Seattle Storm and Chicago Sky are playing right now on NBA TV. ESPN2's got women's Euro action, England and Spain at 3, and a friendly between Club America and Man City at 9. Fox Sports 1, the women's Copa America, Colombia and Chile at 7:50. The basketball tournament, and they are trying to dress that thing up. They're playing games at Rucker Park, which is cool. It's neat, but it's not going to keep me. It'll get me to tune in for about 10 seconds tonight at 8 o'clock on ESPN. AW Dynamite at 8. If I was to make a suggestion, I know some of you guys are just always going to hate Dick Vitale because you believe he loves Duke and nothing else, but, I mean, the man just overcame cancer. There is a new documentary about Dickie V that's now streaming on ESPN+. They're going to air it on TV over the weekend, but it's streaming today on ESPN+. That would be my only viewing suggestion that I would have. Anything non-sports-wise?
Let's see. Shark Week, of course, continues. So I looked into the new episodes of stuff. So Nat Geo's doing, I guess, all the reruns, all the stuff that they have.
Okay.
And then next week on Discovery there'll be, new episodes of random stuff.
Okay.
There's going to be, a Jackass thing.
Okay.
And a Practical Jokers thing.
Okay.
Which
I do like the Jackass thing. The Practical Jokers. Sorry. That'll be for you.
So that's next week.
Okay.
Let's see.
So it's not really Shark Week.
Well, no, it is. I mean,
it's like
if you care
fake
about
Shark Week.
It's pre-Shark Week.
Jesus Christ.
Prep Shark Week.
This is how little we have.
Shark Week's cool.
Fine.
Grownish is the season 5 premiere on Freeform with Yara
I mean, give me something that anybody might care about.
5 guys a week. What do you think that's about? Somebody that just
I got a lot of thoughts. Yeah. Got a lot of
time.
thoughts.
MasterChef, Big Brother.
There's a show on Netflix right now called How to Build a Sex Room. And I'm like, we don't need this. And then I thought about it again. I said, or do we?
Season 4 of Virgin River comes out on Netflix. No clue what that is.
I somehow missed seasons 1 through 3. So
Daniel Kaluuya and Sarah Hyland are on Fallon tonight.
I always get Sarah Hyland and Haley Steinfeld confused.
Yeah,
Sarah Hyland's the one from
Modern Family.
And Haley Steinfeld's the one from True Grit, correct?
So Sarah Hyland's going to be on a Pitch Perfect show on Peacock.
Oh, can't wait for that. And Haley Steinfeld also had that song that was popular.
Yeah.
What the hell was that song called? I don't remember what it's called. Whatever.
It doesn't.
The two of them get me confused. There's also, I feel like there was something else that I referenced recently that was confusing, and now I've already forgotten what it was because I confused myself that much by it. Let's go.
That is it.
Thanks today to Josh Holliday from Oklahoma State. Thanks to Travis Garrison. Thanks to Drew, and also to John Baynon. We'll get all of it up in the greatest hits section of the tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Stuff and things tomorrow. We're getting by one day at a time this week just because we didn't know what our ability was going to be to do shows, but we'll start trying to ramp it up again tomorrow. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Royal Farms, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com, the Glory Days Grill, the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, All-American Lacrosse, the Baltimore Orioles, as well as the Costas Inn. Thanks to all of them for their support. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Thanks to Ryan at RexBacksRyan. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday night. Go absolutely nothing. Duke sucks. Ohio State sucks too.